Yes, that is awesome. It is Rush 100, and that's because you get a 100-night guarantee. 100 night, 3 months to try this thing. All in red. See you tomorrow.
It only happens on one day, and just 100 people can attend. I'm talking about the Tax Freedom Summit, a free 30-minute webinar on Wednesday, April 3rd. This is where you'll learn the little-known strategies that can help manage the tax efficiency of your IRA and 401k, a loophole with the Trump tax plan that could be a financial windfall, plus how you can manage Social Security taxes to maximize your benefits. It will be hosted by myself, Casey Weed, certified financial planner and president of Howard Bailey Financial. You may have seen or heard my television or radio show Retire with Purpose over the last decade, or even read one of my published books. To register, call 866-482-9559. If you've ever wondered how other people get away with paying less in taxes than everyone else, register by calling 866-482-9559, 866-482-9559, or visit SaveYourBenefitsIndiana.com.
Howard Bailey Financial does not offer tax or legal advice. Please consult the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance.
WGRC FM and HD1. Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel.
Your top stories right now.
This is a Fox News alert. The president's first veto is on the way on Lisa Brady. The U.S. Senate just passing a resolution blocking his national emergency declaration for border wall funding, with more Republican defectors than expected.
The yeas are 59, the nays are 41. The joint resolution is passed.
Democrats argue the president was trampling on the Constitution and that there is no emergency on the southern border. Some Republicans who supported the resolution say they still also support the president's push for a border wall. About a dozen siding with Democrats on this resolution, though. There aren't enough votes at this point to override a veto. Over 3,000 flights canceled or delayed across the U.S. from a double blow to air travelers.
So-called bomb cyclone storm pounding the Midwest. The grounding of Boeing 737 MAX jets, leading to delays and cancellations system-wide. The weather knocking out a third of the flights at Denver's airport. 737 cancellations causing havoc everywhere.
Fox Business Network's Jeff Blog at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. The NTSB has teams in Ethiopia and France where the black boxes from Sunday's crash have been sent. A lawsuit against a gun maker over a school shooting in Connecticut is back on after a split decision from the state's highest court. Fox's Bernal Scott with this live.
Lisa, the attorney for the Sandy Hook victims' families, Josh Koskov, says the state Supreme Court ruling sent a clear message.
No industry is fully above the law.
Koskov says they're waiting on...
Am I broadcasting? I am broadcasting. What's up, everybody? I meant to put the intro thing on there. Otherwise, I've been chatting with you. Sorry about that. Let me go ahead and get YouTube all linked up, grab my coffee, and we'll get going.
Thanks, Bernal. This is Fox News.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. Michiana's News Channel on 95.3 FM, the 95.3 MNC skill on
There you are.
and 95.3MNC.com.
I'm Tommy Lee in the MNC News Center, and among our top stories this afternoon, a legendary Indiana politician passed away early this morning.
Former Senator Birch Bayh, who was a powerful progressive Democrat in national politics, has passed away at the age of 91. The former
Woman carrying a football destroys somebody trying to tackle her. I gotta see this.
And was the author of 2 constitutional amendments, as well as a bill that gave women equal opportunity in colleges and universities. Bayh was also the father of 2-term senator and former Indiana governor Evan Bayh.
That's 95.3 MNC's Heather Starr reporting. Governor Holcomb has asked Hoosiers to fly their flags at half-staff until Bayh's funeral.
So how's everybody doing?
Police chase crossed the state line early this morning and ended with an officer discharging his weapon. It began as an attempted traffic stop near County Road 131 and State Road 120 in Bristol shortly after 2:30 a.m. A chase ensued that ended in the 16,000 block of East Lake Drive in White Pigeon. The suspect was taken into custody in the St. Joseph County, Michigan Sheriff's Department.
Yeah, she flattened her.
The circumstances of the fired shots. And a man who pleaded guilty
Just like on spring break on a beach, they're doing the linebacker drill or the running back drill, depending on which side of the ball you're on. And this girl just ran with the ball, man, just lowered her shoulder and just leveled the linebacker. Flat.
Struck the cyclist after he drove away from the scene and struck a pole. The bicyclist suffered 2 broken legs. Hermosillo has been sentenced to 2 years in prison with 160 days suspended. The sentence is being served concurrently with the previous robbery.
2 years in prison
95.3
for running somebody over on a bicycle.
Served up at a Prime Table restaurant in Niles. St. Patrick's Day is Sunday.
That seems a little stingy to me.
All day long. Sunday, dine
They were on a
in,
bike.
carry
What
out
happened to your
all
face?
large
You alright?
parties.
Yeah.
Your home comfort experts, heating specialist, first warning forecast.
Very windy
It's still
conditions
bleeding?
today with winds
No,
gusting over
it's just-
45
it's red.
to 50 miles per hour.
It was bleeding
Very
really
mild
bad,
as
so I
well.
wear a
A
band-aid
daytime
on
high
my
getting
arm.
up to
This is
65
why you don't shave, man.
degrees. Scattered showers and storms though do work their way in during the afternoon.
It
Some winds
happens.
could be strong, severe.
It's been like
Damaging winds and a weak isolated tornado can't be ruled
2
out.
years since
The
I cut
ABC
myself
with the
shaving.
7 first morning
Yeah.
from the Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Sylvia Kennedy.
Right now, cloudy skies and 48.
It's
at
time.
95.3 MNC Studios.
You haven't lived to your electric
News
grid.
Talk
Cut you.
95.3, Michiana's news channel.
School delays and closings.
They're not supposed to cut
you. Instantly online at 95.3
Yeah, it happens.
Powered by First Response. From News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Your breaking news and weather station.
News powered by Sue Kramer Interiors. Elegance and style. Value your home with brands like Stickley, Hancock, Theodore, Alexander, and Hickory White. You're invited to their home. Sue Kramer Interiors on University Drive in Granger.
Now that we've had our first thaw of the year and a taste of the 60-degree weather, you can finally see how harsh winter's been to your backyard. So with every spring comes a new transformation, and your backyard transformation starts with Kurt Outdoor Living, the gateway to your backyard paradise. At Kurt, they believe your outdoor living should be comfortable and beautiful, as well as practical. That's why when it comes to getting the supplies needed for landscaping or entertaining, Kurt Outdoor Living has what you need. At Kurt, you can add color to accentuate your backyard. You'll find a variety of
Oy.
mulch from hardwood to rubber in a variety of colors. Kurt Outdoor Living also offers landscape stone to add color to borders or to create a new pattern. Or maybe you want a great backyard addition to entertain your family and friends. Kurt Outdoor Living's collections allows you to design or build your own outdoor kitchen, patio, fireplace, or fire pit. Start living outdoors.
Man, they were evacuating people in Nebraska. Straight up. Because of that storm.
Oh.
Evacuations, man. Like they're getting their butts kicked.
The average smoker tries to quit up to 30 times. Many are looking for an alternative. Juul was designed by smokers, for smokers, to be a satisfying alternative to cigarettes. Juul is a vapor.
Oh yeah, it is March. That means March Madness.
Satisfying transition. If you're one of the 34 million
Forgot about that.
who smoke, know that there is an alternative to cigarettes. Make the switch.
Where is the massive amount of emails that we always have about the office pool
This product contains
every single year that I think is stupid?
This is Carl on his motorcycle.
Happy Pi Day.
This is Carl on his motorcycle.
Also, what is very different than Teague. People
I am 3.14 Infinity. Excited to be here.
His motorcycle.
Let's do puzzles.
Out of what?
Infinity.
Two,
It's illogical.
3.14 out of infinity.
It's illogical.
As little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
Talk radio that talks with you.
No,
Not at you.
I haven't taken the local honeybee yet.
Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
The problem is that my damn kids keep getting me sick. This case, it was Sean from Nutrition HQ before I fully get over the last thing, so I just keep getting new crap. $953. All right. Do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle, Indiana. And if you mention me, get half off your range time. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information. Okay, so I'm going to start with this. Let's just start with Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Now, he's running for president, in case you hadn't heard. And he is... Here's the thing. I actually saw this debate happening. One of my listeners was telling everybody that he's running on identity politics, and then somebody was like, "No, he actually seems like he's putting that on the outside of his campaign. He's really just focusing on the issue." He's not. He's not focusing on the issues. He's absolutely running an ideology, an identity politics campaign, and I think part of that is he can't get away from it in the media. but he's allowing the media to kind of pigeonhole him. I've said this before. He has the ability to break out of this thing, and he has the ability to start generating some momentum. Rush Limbaugh yesterday said, keep an eye on him, which I've been telling you for a couple of years now. The problem is that if he keeps running a campaign like he's running for mayor in a place where you can't lose when you're running for mayor as a Democrat, and that's how he's doing this, he's going to lose. He may get the donations. He might get to the minor league stage when it comes to the debates, but then he'll have to do it. He'll have to escape that to get to the main stage. The only Republican who did that in the last election was Carly Fiorina. She was the only one to get off of the small stage to the big stage with the debates. Remember, they had the early debates and then they had the primetime debate. And she was the only one that was able to get off of that smaller stage onto the main stage. Okay. So, and you do that by polling numbers and things of that nature. If he continues to go into the press and the press continues to say, hey, you're gay, what do you think of Mike Pence? And he falls for it. He has no campaign. He doesn't. Which is now Beto O'Rourke is in this thing. And I've told you before, keep an eye on a Beto O'Rourke, Pete Buttigieg ticket if he gets that far. They'd be an interesting combination with one another because they're very similar people. So he keeps going on the press. The press keeps asking him these questions. His campaign message is pretty much me gay, Pence bad. It doesn't look good. He's got to do more. Okay. Now, if he's at an event, he's focusing on those other things. The problem is that none of those things matter. All that matters is what the media is portraying to everybody. It doesn't matter what happens in local events that he shows up at right now. Okay. This is, again, it's not a mayoral campaign. This isn't when I meet people at the grocery store or I have coffee with my constituents. This isn't one of those things that wins you elections at a national level. So he's got to focus on the media. So he's going to have to keep the media from pigeonholing him into me gay, Pence bad. Okay. So he's got to stop doing that. If he can, he's got a shot. Now he's getting a little bit more attention over the past couple of days than he was before. All right. Perhaps because he was brought up on Rush Limbaugh's program. I don't know. The day after he was on the town hall thing with CNN, nobody was talking about him. Everybody was talking about Tulsi Gabbard. And she was on, I think, first. So it was Tulsi Gabbard, Klobuchar, and then it was Pete Buttigieg in the primetime 9 p.m. spot. So everybody's talking about Tulsi Gabbard the next day. They weren't talking about him. Now they're talking about him. But again, every article, me gay, Pence bad. That's the thing that he's got to get away from. All right. Pete Buttigieg chilled. Okay, this is today. This is brand new today. Chilled that the absolutely fanatical Mike Pence is in such a position of power. Okay, Mike Pence is a lot of things. Fanatical is not how I would describe him. But Elizabeth Warren had to attack him today. And she said, Mike Pence, he always attacks people that he doesn't like. When was the last time you heard Mike Pence launch a verbal attack on anybody? Honestly. I'm waiting. It's not his style. It's never been his style. Mike Pence has never been the attacker. That's why he was such a good pick for Donald Trump. Because Republicans who didn't like Donald Trump like Mike Pence. People who thought Donald Trump was too mean like Mike Pence because Mike Pence is very nice. Okay? Whether you agree with his politics or not. So this is Matt Mittenthal. Who is he? Who's he from? Hold on a second. I got to pull up his Twitter and figure out who he's from. I think it's from BuzzFeed, but I want to double check. Yeah, Director of Communications for BuzzFeed News. Okay. So Matt Mittenthal tweets out, Pete Buttigieg on VP Pence. It chills a lot of us, especially in the LGBTQ community. He's been pigeonholed again. BuzzFeed News writes a new article about Mike Pence today. Pigeonholed. Me gay, Pence bad. To see that somebody like that can be in that kind of position of power. Uh-huh. Okay. Pete Buttigieg of South Bend, Indiana, mayor who is running for president, understands how Joe Biden might think Vice President Mike Pence is a decent guy, but he believes that Pence's demeanor is covering up something else. I mean, to your face, if you were sitting right here, you'd think that this guy is very polite. Hey, what do I always say about Pete Buttigieg? Nice guy. In fact, I could take Pete Buttigieg's own specific words and say that Every conversation that I have had with him has been cordial. Every time we have been in the same place, he's been very polite, but he's a political radical. That's exactly what Pete Buttigieg said about Mike Pence. So he says, I mean, to your face, if we're sitting right here, you'd think that the guy was very polite. Ironic. But that masks this absolutely fanatical view about how the world works and how the universe works that has led to these incredibly hurtful, dangerous, and harmful policies. Like what? I'm assuming he's talking about RFRA, which everybody lied about. RFRA, which is literally the same language as the Bill Clinton federal RFRA. Okay? And again, it does not allow discrimination. That was a big lie. There's nothing else that he has done that is controversial in the gay community that I'm aware of. Let's see. Now that we have what we have now in the White House, and I think it chills a lot of us, especially in the LGBT community, to see that somebody like that can be in that kind of position of power. Interesting. So, so this is where a U.S. ambassador comes in. See, there's a U.S. ambassador out there who's gay and happens to know Mike Pence very, very well. And he decided to go ahead and go after Pete Buttigieg. So on Wednesday, hold on, pop-ups. On Wednesday, Rick Grinnell, U.S. ambassador to Germany, excoriated South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg, who is gay, and has announced his candidacy for the presidency, for saying about Vice President Mike Pence, it chills a lot of us, especially the LGBT community, to see that somebody like that can be in that position of power. Okay. Now, again, if we're going to talk about absolute moral authority, the gay U.S. ambassador to Germany probably gets a vote. Okay. Probably gets a vote. So, Grinnell, who is also gay and a staunch supporter of LGBT rights, responded on Twitter, for those of us in the LGBT community who deal in facts, we are chilled by reckless, repeated gossip. Mike Pence is a humble Christian who loves God and all his creation. I know him. You obviously don't. All right. Now, obviously, Pete Buttigieg has met him, but does he know him? Doesn't sound like it. Buttigieg's comments came from an interview with BuzzFeed News, in which he discussed former Vice President Joe Biden's statement that Pence is a decent guy. Biden later backed off of his comments after the left fiercely criticized him. In particular, that actress from Sex and the City who failed to run. She ran for governor, but failed to beat Cuomo. And remember, she had an op-ed in the Washington Post, and the Washington Post had to correct like 3 or 4 things in the op-ed because they were lies. One of the biggest lies about Mike Pence is that he was a supporter of conversion therapy. He's denied this his entire political career, and there's been no evidence actually produced that he does support it. Okay. So he's consistently said, no, that I've never supported that, and that is not a position that I have. But it's still said about him all the time. So the Washington Post had to go ahead and remove that and point out that it wasn't true. Buttigieg stated of Pence, I mean, to your face, if he were sitting right here, you'd think that this guy was very polite, but that masks his absolutely fanatical view about the world, how the world works or the universe works, and has led to this incredibly hurtful, dangerous, and harmful policies. Again, the irony here, because that exact same phrase could be said about Pete Buttigieg. The exact same phrase. At a CNN town hall forum from the SXSW Festival in Austin, Texas over the weekend, Buttigieg says of Pence, how could he allow himself to become the cheerleader of the porn star presidency? Okay. You notice something? The past several articles involving Pete Buttigieg, they're all about him versus Mike Pence. Mike Pence is the vice president. Mike Pence isn't even the president. Pete Buttigieg is not running against Mike Pence. He's running against Trump, but he's allowing the media to pigeonhole him into this fight with Pence, and the media is just using it to score points against the Trump administration, but not against Trump himself. So again, he's got to get away from this, and he keeps falling into the trap. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles.
2 to 4. Casey does Elkhart. Do we have a funny poster? We need a funny poster with me just standing over a symbol of Elkhart, just like the old Debbie Does Dallas poster.
Strong gusty winds expected for today, upwards of 45 to 50 miles per hour, and temperatures turning very warm with a high of 65. Once we get to the
I'll get the logo to the guy. We'll see what he does with it.
storms will start to move in. some of which could be strong, severe. Main threat is going to be damaging winds, but can't rule out an isolated weak tornado just yet. For tonight, our temperatures start to drop as we head throughout the overnights, and tomorrow temperatures going from 42 in the morning.
They can't rule out a chance for tornadoes yet,
The rain
but
changing over to
we don't have a
storm
watch.
and still some rather breezy conditions. For Saturday, a chance for an isolated lake effect early in the morning. Otherwise, high of 36 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. A little bit more sunshine for St. Patrick's Day with a high
Elkhart
of
did.
20. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center,
Huge flash of lightning and huge.
Wow.
We carry Stickley. Wow. Hendrickson,
Cool.
Hickory Chair, Hickory White, Hancock and Moore, Century.
So the Debbie does Dallas.
Why do we carry the blinds of furniture we carry?
Isn't the
I believe that it's a value.
Oh no, that's not the cover that I'm thinking of. That's just her
Styling is typically a little more classic.
in front of the camera. I thought there was one where she was like standing over it. Maybe there was like a part 2 or something. I don't know.
Company. So when someone comes in,
Now my IT people are going to be like, "Why are you looking at Debbie Does Dallas on your?"
we actually are more interested in when you find what is right. I would rather somebody leave.
It could be me standing behind one of those painted elks in Elkhart, but you got to find one with a weird face.
On University Drive next to Pepper
Got
Grill.
big old eyes and a weird face. Looks like he's yelling.
Anderson, owner of Signs of the Times. We're a full-service sign company. We've been in business now going on 14 years. We have 2 stores located in Elkhart. A lot of the services we offer, the vehicle wraps have just taken off in the last several years. And with that, our business has grown. And when we give you something...
Casey, I've never seen an ad for an AR-15 ever. I have.
Vehicle wrap, it's a notch above. When you walk in,
They're not common, but I've seen them.
that you're dealing with true professionals, and they absolutely love what they do. And they
Shouldn't Elizabeth Warren be arrested with these other people scamming kids to get into college? Statute of limitations is done.
I want somebody who walks in and say, I want a $25 t-shirt to feel like you're my $10,000 customer. It doesn't really matter. I honestly believe one of the most important things in business is taking care of people, period. And that their job, no matter how big or small, is important to us.
From wraps to signs, apparel and fleets. Display your brand with Signs of the Times in Elkhart.
Oh, by the way, we invented a time machine.
Elkhart.com.
Ew.
Hi, I'm Dwayne Miller.
I'll
with
tell you about it later.
Management, and I buy
Oh,
houses
for real?
cash. If you own a house someone has
Not making it up.
for a fair price, call me at 574-621-3277. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days.
For Rizzo Skizzo.
Any condition, any price range, and in any location. I am not a realtor or associated with any realty company. I'm a private real estate investor who buys
Good point,
a
Al.
month, and I want to buy more. Call me at 574-621-3277. I buy inherited houses, divorce
Well,
houses.
Daniel Defense, didn't they have an AR-15 commercial that they banned at the Super Bowl a couple years back?
If you own a house that's trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs, great, because I love buying damaged houses too.
Honestly, it would be better to produce a commercial and not have the Super Bowl air it, so you can say that the Super Bowl banned it, and then that commercial goes everywhere. You'll probably get bigger impact than actually airing the commercial. Cost you a lot less, that's for sure.
621-3277.
Hey guys, don't mind me as I interrupt your radio program. It's Sue Cosner, sexual health expert on men's performance in the bedroom. Do me a favor and don't touch that dial.
Oh, wait till I read you the
You've probably heard a
the testicle Bill of Rights bill that has been authored by some crazy lady.
Men constantly reach out and ask me, does this Noxitril really work? Or is it just another scam product? I can
Trust me, you don't want to miss that one.
Nothing better than Noxitril. I recommend this super pill to men everywhere. It will transform your life in the bedroom once and for all. Strong, powerful results that increase your blood flow fast. No prescription, no side effects. Just imagine Viagra on steroids. So call Noxitril now.
Comet getting all philosophical and biblical.
Bottle offer shipped discreetly to your door.
Find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 1-800-551-4182. That's 800-551-4182. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-551-4182. That's 800-551-4182.
If your service dog
You have to put him against Pence because Trump will be out of the election. Delusion is great. Somebody sent me a text that you have to put Pete Buttigieg against Mike Pence because Trump will be out by the election. So, people in their delusions. It's good stuff. Speaking of President Trump, by the way, I do want to thank R&B Car Company locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. Senate Republicans joined their Democratic colleagues on Thursday in voting to block President Trump's border emergency declaration, a move expected to prompt the president's first ever veto. The measure passed 59 to 41 as a dozen Republicans joined Democrats in voting for the resolution despite White House efforts to keep the GOP united on the issue of border security. Now, for those of you who don't know, the reason that this is silly is because the president has the constitutional authority to do this. There isn't an overexertion of constitutional authority here. He's not trying to seize power that he doesn't already have. So that's what's so interesting about this. But you do have a lot of open border Republicans in the establishment, and that's exactly where they're going. They're voting with the Democrats on this. Those GOP members who backed the resolution cited concerns about the expansion of presidential powers, even though this isn't an expansion of presidential power. Remember, the president has the authority to rule over immigration anyway, and that is authority that he basically has exclusively. So it's, Congress doesn't necessarily have that authority unless they're writing a new law or something of that nature, but the president has the ability to do this. Plus, he was drawing from funds that the president has the authority to draw funds from. So it's really interesting to see this. I'm going to be voting in favor of the resolution of disapproval, said Senator Mitt Romney, Republican of Utah. I told reporters ahead of the vote, this is a constitutional question. It's a question of the balance of power that is core to our Constitution. No, it's not. This is not about the president or border security. In fact, I support border security. I support a barrier, he said. The other Republicans who voted to oppose the declaration were Senators Mike Lee, Republican of Utah, Rob Portman, Republican of Ohio, Susan Collins, Republican of Maine, Lisa Murkowski, Republican of Alaska, Marco Rubio from Florida, Rand Paul from Kentucky, Lamar Alexander from Tennessee, Roger Wicker from Mississippi, Roy Blunt from Missouri, Jerry Moran from Kansas, and Pat Toomey from Pennsylvania. There is a nice mix of far right, moderate right, and left-leaning right in there with those people. Senator Tillis from North Carolina, however, said that he would oppose the declaration, but reversed course on the Senate floor, saying that he was sympathetic to Trump's push. Let's see. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat of New York, before the vote said that he takes his hat off to Republicans voting with Democrats while accusing Trump of going around Congress with the declaration. Well, he did, to be fair, he tried to use Congress, and that's the whole reason the declaration even happened. This is a momentous day, Schumer said, declaring that the balance of power has shifted back towards Congress. Okay, we'll see. However, Trump is all but certain to answer the resolution with his first presidential veto. The measure heads next to his desk, having previously passed the House of Representatives. He originally issued the emergency declaration last month after Congress granted only a fraction of the $5.7 billion that he requested for a wall on the southern border. Declaring a national emergency allows him to steer an extra $3.6 billion to the wall. Now, remember, a lot of that comes from a fund that is specifically set up for the president's discretion. He just has to enact a executive order to access those funds, but the fund is always there. He also used asset forfeiture funds that were taken from criminals, right? Allegedly criminals, and is kept in the federal coffers. So he pulled money from that, and he pulled money from some of the building projects that are allocated to the National Guards in various states. So that's what he's pulling that money from. So it's not like he's taking it away from programs or anything like that are going to suffer greatly. Let's see, what else do we have here? A vote against the president's national emergency declaration is a vote to deny the humanitarian and security crisis that's happening at our southern border. So we're urging every member of the Senate set politics aside to recognize that we have a crisis. That is what Vice President Mike Pence told the Senate. And here's the thing. Anybody who says that there's no crisis on the border is just flat out lying. It's really that simple. Do you think that 67,000 people dying every year from overdosing off of drugs from Mexico is not a crisis? Do you think millions of people getting into the country and not having any humanitarian protections from whoever might be abusing them in the workforce or using them as indentured servants, do you think that that is not a humanitarian crisis? if you don't think that's a humanitarian crisis, then why do you keep saying it's a humanitarian crisis every time one of these caravans comes to the southern border? You can't have it both ways. Either it's a crisis or it's not. And as I pointed out before, look at what's happening in Nebraska right now. We have situations in this country where you could declare an emergency when a few thousand people are in peril. Well, we're talking about millions of people here on the southern border. We're also talking about the trafficking. We're talking about all of these other things that happen, human trafficking, not just drug trafficking, all of these things that are happening. And it's the human toll is massive. It's just absolutely massive. And if you want to get into the financial emergency aspect of it, it is certainly costing a lot of money. No doubt about it. Of course, the research came out yesterday that 63% of immigrant households use welfare benefits versus 35% of native-born Americans do it. That's a financial burden. And every time we have a budget situation, the Republicans and Democrats both call it a national crisis. Well, a lot of that budget issue has to deal with welfare programs and the fraud, waste, and abuse that happen in those welfare programs, so the money is not going to where it goes. So once again, they're saying there's no crisis in a situation that they routinely say there's a crisis for. So the president's going to veto this. They don't have enough votes right now to overturn that veto. So it's going to be an interesting battle going forward. So LaPorte from 323 to 408 is now under a severe thunderstorm warning. This just came through. Again, LaPorte from 323 to 408 now has a severe thunderstorm warning. So take appropriate precautions as that weather system comes in. Of course, the news says that they can't rule out the possibility of tornadoes, but they are watching it just in case. Although it does appear to be trending away from that threat, we're just not sure. So just keep an eye on the news and the weather. Make sure that you text the word weather to 45364 to get the new and improved weather alerts that we send directly to your phone. Those alerts will go to your phone the moment the alert is issued, okay? So the moment it is issued to us, you get it. It's an automatic system. You pick just the counties you care about, so where you work, where you live, that sort of thing, relatives, what have you, and you don't have to worry about the other areas so that we don't get bogged down with too much information. Again, minutes matter. Go to your phone, pick it up, send a text message to 45364. That message should say weather. And again, message and data rates do apply. MNC News Time is 3:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
I don't know why they didn't do it automatically.
Yeah, that's weird. I would have expected it to come through.
I saw the red letters and went, wait a minute. Like, shouldn't I do that? Because it does it during the test automatically. So I don't know. I can't call drama myself. This is important. See if there's like, hey, by the way, there's an EIS order.
The House people are going to get a second opinion on the electrical code. I don't have time for this.
Elkhart County's January unemployment rate was measured at 3.7%, up from 2.5% in January of 2018. That's the highest unemployment rate in the county since June.
5 gallons of milk and a generator, huh?
South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg says that he is very close to meeting the requirements to qualify for the first DNC presidential debate this year. The first debate is in June, and candidates have to have at least 1%
Tel
qualifying polls.
Yeah, they've been firing rockets at Israel actually over the past couple of days.
Have to be from at least 20 different states. South Bend Tribune reports that Buttigieg.
Do they actually hit? No, they actually hit. Usually the Iron Dome intercepts them, but.
In a press conference Thursday, Governor Gretchen Whitmer and former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg
Do you think our engineer would know why it's not doing it automatically?
become the second state selected to
He may, and if he doesn't, he'll know who to call.
The funding will accelerate access to
I don't. I just know where his office is.
people die in the U.S. from opioid overdoses than from car
A whole lot of people getting them text alerts right now.
Fox News. The Senate blocking President Trump's national emergency declaration for a border wall. A dozen Republicans joined every Senate Democrat to pass the resolution 5941. President Trump has promised to veto. Neither the House nor the Senate adopted the resolution with enough votes required to override the veto. But it does send a bipartisan rebuke to the president, who's seeking executive billions of additional dollars.
I forgot we had
construction boxes. Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. British lawmakers voting to ask the European Union to delay Brexit by at least 3 months.
Prime Minister Theresa May is hoping her withdrawal agreement still can be voted in
has been defeated twice before. May has warned if a new approach is tried, the delay could be long.
Fox's Greg Alcott in London. And Hallmark no longer working with Lori Loughlin after the actress was charged in a college admissions bribery scheme. This is Fox News.
Weather, served up by the Prime Table. Start your morning routine with the Prime Table in Niles. This week's breakfast special, waffles and crepes, half off until 10:30 a.m.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialist first warning forecast.
Very windy conditions today with winds gusting upwards of 45 to 50 miles per hour and definitely very mild as well. Daytime high getting up to 65 degrees. Thunderstorms and storms though do work their way in during the afternoon, some which could be strong severe with damaging winds and a weak isolated tornado can't be ruled. And the ABC.
So the home inspector had all of these electrical things written up. And so what I did is I brought in my own electrician to give me a price on how much it was going to cost to fix these things. So that way I could immediately go back to the seller and say, all of the things that are in the inspection report, this is how much it is to fix it. And they're now saying, well, we want to go ahead and get our own price too. So, which I mean, normally is fine and I can appreciate it. It's just that it's
we have an EAS alert,
taking too much time.
Like doing it automatically.
On Highway 12 in Edwardsburg, and we are open to the public. Check out our daily specials today.
Okay, well, it
I can't be there for their
10
inspection.
minutes ago.
You're not allowed to commingle like that.
Okay. The rolling screen, and then under on next gen, there's a thing that says like what channel one and then EAS alert. So
Anytime you have that temperature drop, keep an eye on things going still, Alex. Let us know what happens, buddy.
Okay, well, okay.
This is who's ranked today in the Thursday closing farm market report. Corn follows wheat higher. Soybeans finished lower. Good afternoon, I'm Eric Pfeiffer. Corn got a boost again from some China rumors. Those rumors again have not yet been confirmed. But that, along with higher wheat prices, bumped corn futures higher. 3 3/4 better on the May contract at 370 1/4. July 379 1/2, up 3 1/4. These corn up 1 3/4 and 394. Beans were up 3 around midday, but fell to
I did. So I just wrote it down and had Casey read it. We figured that one.
2.5 lower on the July contract as well at 912 1/4. Novi beans down 3 at 932.
It's a severe. It's a, yeah, severe thunderstorm warning for local.
452 3/4.
I got a listener report says temperature just dropped 10 degrees too. So.
Okay, I was just like, because I didn't know if there was something I was supposed to do during this situation. Or... Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Will do. The buyer was there with your people. Interesting.
Oh no. Apparently, we did the exact correct thing we were supposed to do.
Okay.
No worries.
Boeing are flat after the president ordered its 737 MAX 8 and 9 jets grounded, joining a slew of
Good
other
job
nations.
getting that weather text alert we didn't know we were supposed to do.
And another defeat for Johnson & Johnson, and its shares are down as a result. The company was ordered by a California jury to pay $29 million for a woman who claims that asbestos in its talcum powder-based products caused her cancer. J&J is
Something Thursday.
lawsuits and denying the accusations, saying numerous studies.
I sent the request to my agent to go ahead and let him know that I want to be there. So.
And Toyota will be investing an additional $750 million at 5 U.S. plants.
I-65 summer
for the first time in its
something.
Kentucky facility.
I'm trying to read
It will
this.
create nearly 600 new jobs and marks yet another expansion of the Japanese automakers' U.S. presence.
Because it's supposed to be something.
Oh, okay.
But it's not legible.
See them all around town. Cintas trucks. And their
Maybe he should have been a doctor.
taking care of customers.
You imagine Mark McGill, the doctor?
Cintas helps with their fire protection and first aid and safety programs, handles their apparel
Also,
solutions,
apparently Dave and
helps
Colleen
keep their
Newkirk are
facility
higher
and
ups than
restrooms clean and
BBC.
stocked. So
Okay.
you know, those companies care about their employees, facilities, and image. When all those things work together, they're ready for business. Oh, I'm ready! Get Cintas and get ready for the workday.
Northern Indiana, Southern Michigan, Western Ohio. It's time for Thaw and Haul. Championship pulling in Spain, the Indiana Event Center. For the first ever NCPA Ship Mishawaka Spring Nationals. 120-foot track with 4 big classes. Light Super Stock, Super Farm, and Limited Pro Stock Tractors. Plus Pro Stock Diesel Truck. Each session starts at 6 and ends with a twin-engine supercharged modified finale. That'll blow the roof off the mess. See the machines up close and meet the drivers in the pit. Tour the farm so they'll visit noon both days. Then prepare for a hot blast of championship pulling horsepower. Get your tickets at the door or buy tickets now at ntpapoll.com or O'Reilly Auto Parts and save. Check out the discounts from News 4 to 10 and the weekend pass. The first weekend of spring, Friday and Saturday, March 22nd and 23rd. The NTPA Mishawaka Spring Nationals at the Michiana Event Center. See ntpapoll.com for more.
Mark McGill, Guido.
You've been looking at that worn-down furniture all winter long. The time is right to stop by Furnitureland in Goshen for an extraordinary furniture buying experience. One free from the stress of high pressure and entirely focused on helping you find the best solutions for your unique furniture needs. Right now, stretch your tax return even further when you stop by our showroom and get 10% off our already low prices when you mention this ad or 95.3 MNC. See store for
Can you cue up my audio, please?
Recently remodeled 25,000 square foot showroom just south of Peddler's Village Road off US 33. Furnitureland in Goshen has you covered with a wide selection of the best brands of American-made furniture and Amish craftsmanship. You are sure to find what you're looking for. Our hassle-free service and amazing selection of living room, bedroom, and dining room furniture will make you wonder why you ever shopped on Grape Road. Furnitureland in Goshen, purposefully different. Come find out why.
All right.
Visit us at 2121 West Wilden Avenue in Goshen today.
Talk radio that
No, I didn't, Val.
not accurate. News Talk 95, Michiana's news channel. Casey Hendrickson.
Hey, I can hear the station. Whatever you just did, fixed it.
Put it in program.
Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. Do want to let you know LaPorte is under a severe thunderstorm warning until 4:08. That was just issued right before we went to break in the last segment. So again, LaPorte, severe thunderstorm warning until 4:08. Do have a listener who's in LaPorte right now, so the temperature feels like it dropped like 10 degrees. So be vigilant and be careful. If you see anything, hear anything, let us know when you safely can do that. I'm seeing some people sign up for I'm seeing a lot of you sign up for the weather text alerts. However, a couple of you are making a mistake, and I just want to correct it so you get properly signed up. When you text the word weather to 45364, that's all you put in the text. Okay, don't put your county in there right there. Just text the word weather to 45364. It will then send you a link to select the counties that you care about, and then it will ask you to opt in by typing Y or N for yes or no, and then you'll be properly set up for all of those counties, okay? So some people are just sending weather and then their county, and that's not going to sign you up for the appropriate spots, so just make sure that you do it in the proper order, so that way you get all of those alerts going right to your phone, okay? So again, just text the word weather to 45364, and then you will be texted the instructions on how to sign up for those specific counties. All right, do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. They have a basic pistol class that's coming up on Sunday, March 24th. It is going to be from 12 to 4 p.m. You get 4 hours of professional instruction. You can call Paul to reserve your spot right now. Again, it's $125 per student. Perfect class for a new shooter or somebody who's looking to purchase their first firearm. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more info. So one of the things about Media Matters for America. Now, for those of you who don't know what Media Matters is, I think a lot of people throw Media Matters around. They throw George Soros around, and a lot of people don't know who they are. So Media Matters for America was founded to do one thing, and that was to take down primarily radio talk show hosts. They have a staff who are assigned to various radio hosts. When I was in Vegas, I was assigned 1 or 2 people to listen to my show every single day, pick apart everything that they didn't like about it, and then they would write articles about me in local press, okay? I have not had that experience here, so I don't know if they think that I dropped off of the radar or they don't have anybody assigned to Indiana. I don't know. But in Vegas, it was a big issue. So every time I said something or did something or even posted something, they created an archive of it. They would write these articles to attack me over it. So that's what they do. They have people who are specifically there to monitor certain shows. That is the entire job of one individual. So one individual or 2 individuals or however many they have assigned to Tucker Carlson, their job is to watch Tucker Carlson every single day and find anything that they can find to go ahead and attack him for. Okay, that's what Media Matters for America does. Truth Revolt used to do that for the political right. That was run by Ben Shapiro. And then they would go after their sponsors and their advertisers and that sort of thing. So it was a very interesting project. Truth Revolt was actually a really good website, but it's gone by the way of the dodo. So Media Matters has the guy who runs it, Angelo Carlson. Back in 2014, 2015, the Daily Caller wrote an article about this guy and said, isn't it interesting that this guy is involved with Media Matters because look at all of the bigoted things that he has said in the past. And we're talking about anti-Semitic stuff, homophobic stuff, transphobic stuff. This is a guy who has said a lot of bigoted things. And here he is running Media Matters for America, running around and accusing Tucker Carlson and others of being bigots. So Tucker Carlson, I was going to post all of this yesterday, but Facebook was down. So Tucker Carlson absolutely picked him apart last night. I'm going to go ahead and play that for you right now so you can listen to Tucker Carlson doing it.
Chris Hayes is an anchor over on MSNBC, the one with the glasses. Hayes' political views aren't very interesting, cringing hipster sensitivity burnished with low-grade academic buzzwords. Pretty banal stuff. But Hayes always seemed like a decent guy personally. He didn't seem like a hater. It was hard to imagine him promoting open racism or anti-Semitism. Or at least it was hard to imagine until the other night. That's when Hayes invited a man called Angelo Carlson onto his show. Carlson runs Media Matters. Almost every day he issues outraged press releases accusing other people of bigotry. And yet, because everything is irony, Carlson is himself an enthusiastic bigot. We know this for sure because he has written about it extensively. It turns out that for years, Carlson maintained a racist blog. One post entitled, quote, Tranny Paradise, addressed a crime story from Thailand. A Bangladeshi man had been robbed and assaulted by a group of male prostitutes dressed as women. Carlson objected to the idea that this was even a story and ridiculed South Asians as inherently ugly and poor. Quote, is the writer a tranny lover too? Or perhaps he's just trying to justify how these trannies tricked this Bangladeshi in the first place. Look, man, we don't need to know whether or not they were attractive. The effing guy was Bangladeshi. What the hell was he doing with $7,300 worth of stuff? The guy's Bangladeshi. End quote. In another post, Carlson described how a male coach at a Japanese high school had sexually abused female players. People in Japan were horrified by this, understandably. Carlson was not. His advice, quote, lighten up, Japs. Later that month, Carlson, by now in a frenzy of racism, heaped praise on a former Ku Klux Klan leader. In still another post from the same period, Carlson described a Jewish man as being handsome, quote, despite his Jewry. Carlson didn't like the man's political views, but attributed them to, quote, his possession of several bags of Jewish gold, end quote. Jewish gold. According to Angelo Carlson, Jewish gold is a problem. Media Matters probably ought to issue a press release about this. They've done a lot more for a lot less. And yet somehow, and this is the remarkable part, Chris Hayes managed to pretend that none of this ever happened. Hayes never mentioned the Jewish gold. He never said a word about the Japs or the trannies or the Klan or even those dirty Bangladeshis who deserve what they get no matter what the tranny lovers say. None of that. Instead, Hayes gave cover to Carlson's bigotry and anti-Semitism. Amazingly, he even directed his viewers to Carlson's website.
So not only did Chris Hayes do that, but Brian Stelter at CNN, who did ask Carlson about some of his bigoted statements, Carlson said, well, I was being bullied as a kid, so, you know, I was allowed to write that stuff. So somehow people saying mean things to you when you were younger justifies some of that stuff. But again, the point is, Media Matters for America, the guy who runs it, who sends these outrage-inducing press releases every single day, is guilty of doing far more than his targets have ever done. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table Restaurant in Niles. Does your family or group meet regularly for breakfast, lunch, or dinner? Just call the Prime Table to reserve tables for your next gathering.
Now, your
So Iron Dome got one of them.
Gusty winds expected for today, upwards of 45 to 50 miles per hour, and temperatures turning very warm with a high of 65. Once we get to this afternoon, though, we do have the chance for showers and storms to start to move in, some of which could be strong, severe. Main threat is going to be damaging winds, but can't rule out an isolated weak tornado just yet. For tonight, our temperatures start to drop as we head throughout the overnights, and tomorrow, temperatures going from 42 in the morning down into the 30s by the evening, with rain changing over to snow briefly and still some rather breezy conditions. For Saturday, a chance for isolated lake effect early in the morning, otherwise high of 36 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. A little bit more sunshine for St. Patrick's Day with a high of 40. In the ABC 57 First Morning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emma Kennedy.
The top news stories.
We have our military sent to the border. We have 8,000 military personnel right now at the border. It's really an onslaught.
Well, they say this is a public investigation, but it sounds like public and professional orchestration.
I hope we can avoid using that third pot of money. That's the one that's complicated and problematic.
Wow, they had a split tree and they didn't get it taken down right away? Jesus.
$7 billion from the first two pots, and those are not.
There it is.
Hey, it finally hit. There's your EAS alert, people.
Well, I got here, Casey. Do Z-Bar coming out of the break, if you please.
The microphone is really good.
Is it?
It's picking up that.
Is it?
Yeah, like crystal clear. Which means it's extra difficult for people to hear me when John's in here. Holy smokes.
Oh, yeah, good point. Get to hear the end of the
Every time with an X mark, the Mowers Landscape Pros trust
That was
to
a
to the next best-selling brand of mowers.
that was a heck of a morning. So I guess we're at thunderstorm warning for much of the listening area in Central Time. Would probably be the best way to put it.
And
The last guy was on there.
oh, I'm looking
I'm just going by what the guy just said.
We're building into our like the new 244,000 square foot manufacturing plant.
But it was all Central Time, right?
Yeah, I think that's all our Central Time.
We're the
Before
Father's
it
Matter
started.
Forum we sponsor to encourage men to step up and enter meaningful relationships with kids.
Northwestern
I'm DJ
Indiana.
Construction. We live here, we care here. DJ Construction, building into our community. When it's time to build, make us your first call.
We're your home for the Sean Hannity Show. Weeknights 6 till 9, exclusively on News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel. Your breaking news and weather station.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3 Michiana's News Channel. Just heard the EAS alert. Basically, we're on a severe thunderstorm warning. LaPorte was the first one issued. That was going until 4:08 p.m. But it appears that much of the listening area in the central time zone is dealing with thunderstorm warnings right now. So again, take precautions. We've got reports of hail in LaPorte, rain, that sort of thing. So just make sure that you're safe, get to shelter, and let us know if there's anything that we can report to help other people out. 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Just got a severe thunderstorm warning for Berrien County until 4:15 Eastern as well. Did that just come across? Okay, so Most of the listening area is now starting to get those warnings. So just again, there's several storms that are coming in. They were watching this earlier for potential tornado activity, and they said that they haven't ruled it out yet, but it appears to be steering away from that. But you never know. So just be prepared, get your supplies, stay close to shelter, and be safe. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. That's 2595-953. You know, weather like this can really make your car look ugly. So if you had ceramic Z-Gloss paint coating protecting your vehicle's paint, then you don't have to worry about those disgusting water droplets that, dry on your car, because the water just rolls right off your car. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to wax or polish your car for 7 years. It protects against minor dents and scratches as well, and that might be an issue with some of the hail that's floating around out there. Go to Z-Bar to South Bend. Check out the ceramic Z-Gloss paint coating. We're coming into spring, so you want to go ahead and get the interior detailed anyway, get all of that winter slush and mix and all of that stuff that's in your car out of it, and then get some Germ Defender put down to help prevent you from getting sick. And you can do all of that and much more at Z-Bar of South Bend. When you go to Z-Bar to South Bend, make sure you let them know that I sent you. All right, I'm going to go back. I'm going to finish the last minute or so of Tucker Carlson talking about Chris Hayes, who's with MSNBC, who brought up none, absolutely none, of the racist, homophobic, transphobic, and bigoted comments that that Carlson, Angelo Carlson, who runs Media Matters for America, has written in the past. He brought none of them up and actually promoted Media Matters and sent people to Media Matters' website. So here's the rest of that soundbite from Tucker Carlson last night.
Angela Carlson, of course, all that can be found at Media Matters website, so you can listen to the full clips, get the full context.
Right. Pretty amazing. If a guy with a history of ranting about Jewish gold came on your show, would you ask him about it? Would you challenge him on it? How could you not? You'd feel morally obligated. But Chris Hayes didn't. That tells you a lot. Now, to be clear, we're not calling for either of these people to be imprisoned or executed or even fired from their high-paying jobs. We're not planning to organize an advertiser boycott against them. We won't picket their offices with bullhorns. We won't attack their children. But we do think you should know what they're actually like. And in Chris Hayes' case, it's kind of depressing to find out. Turns out you really never know who people are.
So that's Tucker Carlson. And remember, when he declared war the other day, Tucker Carlson basically said, we are going to report on all of the times that people try to take the show down. And we haven't in the past, because the show was never about us. It was always about the content and you. But now we're going to go ahead and highlight these things. So Newsweek took a swipe at Tucker Carlson too, and then they ended up stepping on a rake. So Newsweek goes out there. I got to find the actual tweet here. I want to pull this up so you can actually see it. I'm not going to read parts from the article from it. I just want to read the headline. Newsweek: Tucker Carlson could face hate speech charges if he were Canadian or British. Good thing he's not Canadian or British then, right? I mean, you're Newsweek. You write a whole article about how Tucker Carlson could face hate speech charges. St. Joseph just got the issue as well. All right, so pretty much the entire listening area now under a severe thunderstorm warning. So seek shelter, make sure you're safe. But Newsweek is basically defending, or at least highlighting, the First Amendment. They're not defending it, but they're highlighting the First Amendment. Thank God Tucker Carlson has First Amendment protections to go ahead and say what he has to say. And keep in mind, these are all things that he said when he worked at MSNBC, when he called a radio show for a shock jock over a decade ago. And nothing about what he was saying. And here's the other thing, too. They were tiny little clips over several appearances, because he did a regular hit once a week on that show for an hour, that they strung together as one clip. So when you hear this one clip, it sounds like he went on this giant rant, but that's not true. You could say it's deceptive editing, which is something they always accuse Project Veritas of doing, which is interesting. But they also, hotair.com wrote, will the president of Media Matters boycott himself? It was a funny article. But the Daily Caller wrote an article about Carlson, like in 2014 or 2015, where they highlighted some of this stuff and said, this is really interesting. This is the guy that's taking over this particular organization because he's guilty of all of the things that he claims.
And I said, you know, Brian Stelter from CNN has him on there and goes, I asked him about it. You gave him cover. And the guy, how is it that the guy from Media Matters gets to say racist, homophobic, transphobic things and anti-Semitic things? How is it that he gets to say those things back in 2004, 2005? But Tucker Carlson can't say things from 10 years ago. How is that? How does Carlson get a pass for saying all of those things? Tucker Carlson never said anything remotely as bad as that. No, not even remotely close. And a lot of the stuff that he did say was being taken completely out of context. But nonetheless, that is what we're dealing with. And unfortunately, people who watch Chris Hayes, watch Brian Stelter, they don't know any of this because they're not highlighting it. They're only highlighting that Tucker's bad because Tucker is destroying them all in the ratings. So it's about taking down the competition. Yes, there's an ideological component to this, but it is really about winning the ratings battle by getting rid of the, arguably the most successful or second most successful talent that Fox News has right now in their opinion programming, without a doubt. All right, folks, pretty much the entire listening area under severe thunderstorm warning. There are some pockets that are not, but most of the listeners are under that warning. So seek shelter. Be careful out there. Let us know if there's anything we need to pass on to other listeners to keep them safe. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your top stories right now.
A four-letter word from the president. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Veto.
Love?
Exclamation point.
Hate. Veto means love.
Rebuke of his national emergency declaration. Fox's Jared Halpern.
There's a lot of four-letter words.
Republicans joined every Senate Democrat to advance a resolution of
Hey, Tom. He doesn't have a coat on today. No blazer for Tom Coons.
Is it just him that is like, does he exist in a weird color world, or is that
He
TV
does
just
look
always
really kind of weird today.
Is he fake bacon? I think he's fake bacon.
He might be.
The resolution already approved by the House to the president, and the president has responded in a one-word
It's like it's about to pass right over us.
The girl yesterday who was outside, she looked fine, right? She didn't look like she was all weird colored or anything. She
Oh,
looked
they were
okay.
doing emergency. Like, hey, here's what's going on.
Still, that guy looks normal. That guy looks normal.
Well, this is also like national level stuff. That was our local.
Yeah, but they have. But I'm saying it's not the TV.
No.
So there's something wrong with him.
Yes.
Okay.
Because they're like,
he's got a weird color.
Other anchors look fine.
That's what I'm saying. Like everybody else seems to look okay. He's just.
The rockets might have been fired by Islamic Jihad, possibly hoping to disrupt ongoing peace talks led by an Egyptian delegation. Fallout from the college admissions cheating scandal announced this week. Hallmark says it will no longer work with actress Lori Loughlin, one of the parents who's charged, and makeup giant Sephora is ending its partnership with Loughlin's 19-year-old daughter. On Wall Street, a mixed finish. The Dow up about 8 points at the closing bell. The S&P.
Remember, there's no tornado watch yet. Okay. They've just been watching these storms as potential producers of tornadoes.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
But
Michiana's news channel on 95.3 FM, the 95.3 MNC skill on Alexa, and 95.3MNC.com.
I'm Tommy Lee in the MNC News Center, and among our top stories this afternoon, a legendary Indiana politician passed away early this morning.
Former Senator Birch Bayh, who was a powerful progressive Democrat in national politics, has passed away at the age of 91. The former legislator from Terre Haute died of pneumonia. Bayh served 3 terms in the U.S. Senate and was the author of 2 constitutional amendments, as well as a bill that gave women equal opportunity in colleges and universities. Bayh was also the father of 2-term senator and former Indiana governor Evan Bayh.
That's 95.3 MNC's Heather Starr report.
yeah, it's just
Governor Holcomb has asked Hoosiers to fly their flags at half-staff until Bayh's funeral. There were no injuries reported after a police chase crossed the state line early this morning and ended with an officer
interesting.
discharging his weapon. It began as an attempted
I don't know enough about his history to comment, but
shortly after 2:30 a.m. A chase
I had never heard of that
into the
until
16,000
this
block of
morning.
East Lake
So
Drive in White Pigeon. The
that's
suspect
how
was
much I
taken into
know.
custody, and the St. Joseph County, Michigan Sheriff's Department is investigating the circumstances of the fired shots. And a man who pleaded guilty in connection with the hit and run.
Students are selling. Thanks, Alex. The students are selling Ben Shapiro tickets for as much as $200. Jesus.
It's getting dark outside.
Substance. Hermosillo had slurred speech,
Yeah.
watery eyes, and was unsteady on his feet when he got out of the car and struck the cyclist after he drove away from the scene and struck a pole. The bicyclist suffered 2 broken legs. Hermosillo has been sentenced to 2 years in prison with 160 days suspended. The sentence is being served concurrently with the previous robbery sentence.
Sun's back out in the port, he says.
Yeah.
So it's a fast mover then, at least.
404 right now, so they're wait no, because I think they extended that. Here, let me see. I'm looking. Morning for Marion, Port, and St. Joseph, beginning at 3:55 and ending at 4:40. Their original ones. But they've extended it up to 4:40.
So everything's 440.
Yes, I think so. So Marion, St. Joseph, and
Cloudy skies and 48 at the 95.3 MNC studios. I'm John Zimney, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel.
St. Joseph.
Construction season means slowdowns and road closures. Yet traffic and weather.
Because apparently somebody thought, why don't we name St. Joseph here and then go over the border and name St. Joseph here?
Correct.
Somebody thought that was good.
Yeah.
Spectrum CBD oil. Ask about it today and come taste what it means to make American food great again.
Polybags at 4 Lakes. Locally raised meats made to order American classics like walleye, bluegill, haddock, hand-cut Chairman's Reserve steaks, slow-smoked ribs, double bacon, double cheese.
Why did a new Ask Me Anything pop up? I answered this several days ago.
Just a short drive from anywhere in Michiana. Located between the 9th and
Oh,
10th holes of 4 Lakes Golf Course.
It's on Discord, though. It's like,
Oh. Check out our daily specials today.
oh, new Dissenter update, huh? Nice. I like that. Yeah, it shows up on YouTube right away. That's pretty cool. So that's why, maybe that's why it was deactivated yesterday. So if I try to dissent my Discord, it doesn't let me. Oh, my Discord's not working.
Visit mhsindiana.com or call 1-877-647-48.
Interesting. Oh, yeah. So you go into the scripts, Twitter, Reddit, YouTube. So you have to activate those. If you can deactivate them if you want to. Nice. Very cool. It's not letting me dissent anything, though. Just started pouring in Buchanan. Thundering out on the west side of South Bend.
Wind just picked up a whole bunch.
Getting very windy.
Wind just picked up.
Oh, they had a DDoS? Okay. I can't do anything with it right now. He just gives me a frowny face. Nothing's working with it right now. Dissenter.com refused to connect. So are they under attack again? Oh, what's up? I'm logged in. Interesting. Can I dissent the Dissenter website? Hey, it let me dissent the Dissenter website. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595953. Most of the area is under a severe thunderstorm warning until about 4:15, 4:30, depending on where it is. Berrien County is going till 4:15. Wait, no, that got upgraded to 4:32. So just assume 4:30 for most of the listening area. I am hearing from listeners in LaPorte that the storm hit quick, furious, left, and the sun is now out. A lot of people are talking about the wind. Wind just started picking up here at the studios as well. And Buchanan, apparently there's a downpour. So again, every almost every bit of the listening audience right now is under a severe thunderstorm warning. So just take precautions, seek shelter, that sort of stuff. Let us know if there's anything we need to report to anybody, in case any trees or anything like that, take down some power lines. I know that we've been dealing with some power issues anyway with 2 different companies over the past couple of days. So anything that we could pass on to the audience to make things a little bit better for them, please let us know. 574-2595-95-3. That is 2595-953. You can also send me a text message at 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. I want to thank our sponsors, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. Second Amendment Arms and Range will give you half off your range time. If you mention me, you get 10% off the store, and you get listener-exclusive discounts on firearms. Plus, you can buy my stuff there as well. I've got knives that are there, the Centurion Fixed Blade, the Spectre G automatic knives, they're all there. And they don't have any of the SPKTs, though. I need to do another production run of those. Those sell out as soon as I get them made. All right, go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information about that. Just the other day, Joe and I were talking about time machines. And what you were talking about, what was it specifically that you were talking about with the time machine?
So if your time machine can't travel through space the way, same way it can travel through time, if you were to stay in the same point fixed in space and travel a minute into the future, you would end up in space. You would end up in space, right. And of course, my response to that is, you don't know that. And we think we know that, okay? We think we know that because it seems like sound physics, but we honestly don't know. It all kind of depends on how this ends up working out, if we can perfect it. And then lo and behold, dude, I'm looking at the Sun UK, quantum time. Scientists have built the world's first time machine, it's in quotes, okay, in an experiment which defies the laws of physics. This is the thing about physics. We keep finding new things that defy the laws of it. Lead researcher Dr. Gordy Lesovic said by putting scattered electrons back into their original shape, they had effectively created a state which went against the direction of time. Interesting. I'm going to read it to you. This is not my field, okay? I'm going to read it to you, and you do with it what you want. Mostly, I would assume that you would panic. Working with electrons in the bizarre realm of quantum mechanics, they first created the equivalent of a break for a game of pool. The balls, scattered and according to the laws of physics, should have reappeared to split in a haphazard way. But researchers managed to make them reform in their original order, looking as if they were turning back time. Lead researcher Dr. Gordy Lesovic of Moscow's laboratory, we're talking about Russians here, Moscow's laboratory of the physics of quantum information at the Moscow Institute of Physics and Technology, said, "We have artificially created a state that evolves in a direction opposite to that of the thermodynamic arrow of time." So what he said. He's also Russian, so you can't really trust what he's saying is accurate either. His team used a rudimentary quantum computer which carries information on subatomic particles. He hopes their findings in journal scientific reports will help improve processing power. So this is all about making processors more super awesome. What do we have here? Not quite Doctor Who, but even Time Lords had to start somewhere. So how does it work? Well, the time machine is actually a rudimentary quantum computer made up of electron qubits. I'm going to assume that's okay. A qubit, or a qubit, is the basic unit of quantum information, a unit that represents 1, 0, and both 1 and 0 at the same time. Researchers ran an evaluation program which caused the qubits to enter a complicated changing pattern of 1s and 0s, kind of like binary code. Then during the process, the order was lost, like hitting balls in the start of a pool game. So they had everything kind of confined in one little space, and then boom, it kind of just split apart. A separation program then modified the state of this quantum computer so that it evolved backwards, returning from chaos to order. So think of you have your ball set up on a pool board or pool table and board. Pool board, right? I need a pool table stat. So you've got it all set up, right? And everything's in order. You break it apart, and then you just hit rewind,
and they all come back together in the same way instead of continuing and then having your balls all over the place. So a separate program then modified the state of the quantum computer so that it evolved backwards, returning from chaos to order. This allowed the qubits to return to their original starting point. Scientists were able to perform this so-called time reversal successfully 85% of the time with 2 qubits. They had a 50% success rate with 3. Huh. Interesting. So maybe the Russians can turn back time and redo the votes of the last election. The idea was to test our theory about whether time can reverse itself, at least for a single particle for a fraction of a second. When scientists observe an electron, they can't figure out its exact position, but can determine where it's roughly located. But over time, it becomes more difficult to tell where the electron is because the region of space containing it spreads out, or rather it becomes more chaotic. This increases the uncertainty of the electron's position, a core principle of Schrodinger's equation. The team were able to then calculate the probability of a smeared out electron spontaneously localizing back to its recent past, traveling through time in effect. So Russia's got time travel. We're all going to die. 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595953. You can also send a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message. So pretty cool research. A lot of actual pretty big research has happened. Now, here's the thing that we have to look out for. So this is an article. This is a thing that the researchers are saying. In 6 to 9 months, will we find out it was all a sham? That becomes the thing. Because a lot of times you have these, how many times there have been a cure for AIDS? Lots, right? They end up not being true. But it gets published. There's articles that happen as a result of it, that sort of thing. And it ends up not being true. So it's possible that they had this success, but it's also possible that, down the road we'll find out that maybe they were fudging their numbers just a wee little bit. But we will see. All right. I got to tell you about Pass the Mic. That is going to be happening on Friday, March 22nd at Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill. It feels like we just had one, though. Usually we do this once a quarter. I swear we just did a Pass the Mic, but hey, I'm okay with doing it again. Get to go to Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill, hang out with all of you. We're talking about all of the 2020 candidates. There's several more that got involved now. We got Beto O'Rourke's in it now. Then we also got all of the other issues that are surrounding the president, the White House, this veto of his emergency order, all of that stuff and much more that we will be discussing at Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill. And again, we'll have a specially priced 95.3 MNC menu just for you. So Pass the Mic, Friday, March 22nd at Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill from 95.3 MNC. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
We're on the Weather Watch 24 hours a day, on air and on your smartphone with weather text alerts. Sign up at 953mnc.com. Casey Hendrickson.
Which is to be expected.
We should play AC/DC then.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. 25 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people.
I mean, it just makes sense.
For breakfast, lunch, or
I can't believe I didn't think of that myself.
It's Thursday.
My face kind of hurts. So.
I actually got some sleep last night. I went to bed early. Like, I fell asleep while my wife was talking to her mom, like, early in the evening, like 9:30. And so I went to bed. So I got a good night's sleep, but I feel like I have had no sleep. So, like, I need to catch up more.
Oh, I should have just...
Oh, hell no.
Well, hey, look on the bright side, Casey. We have 2 panes of glass separating us from the outside.
Yeah, not bulletproof glass, though.
For Saturday, transport isolated lake effect early in the morning. Otherwise, high of 36 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. A little bit more sunshine for St. Patrick's Day with a high of 40.
Nice instinct in my bears.
I want to say that there would have been some funny thing involved with that, but let's be honest, they probably grooved to it during the commercial breaks.
It is. Let's see if I can find it. I know we have it.
But you've got to text weather to 45364. Message and data rates apply.
Hello, I'm Les Anderson, owner of Signs of the Times. We're a full-service sign company. We've been in business now going on 14 years. We have 2 stores located in Elkhart. A lot of the services we offer, the vehicle wraps have just taken off in the last several years. And with that, our business has grown. And when we give you...
Yeah, in fact, I was watching the last episode last night when I was falling asleep. They had the new Aston Martin on there, which I don't think is as attractive as they said it was. And I'm a big Aston Martin fan. I also don't always agree that Porsches are better put together than Astons, because I think you can respond to that with the DBS and the DB9. The DBS is still the nicest car I've ever been in.
From wraps to signs, apparel and fleets. Display your brand with Signs of the Times in Elkhart. Visit signsoftheTimesElkhart.com.
If trans-binary coding exists, how do I really know this is 95.3?
Free means no charge. And free is the deal at Home Comfort Expert. Call 255-4600 for Home Comfort Expert about getting a free service with a purchase of an AC unit. At the same time, you're keeping your home cool this summer.
That's good stuff.
This winter, call Home Comfort Experts today to get your free furnace. And the technician...
All right, Dissenter's up and working again.
Warm and toasty,
Yay.
with a free furnace. And at the same time, they'll install the AC unit that'll make this summer the most comfortable and energy efficient ever. Come to think of it, that free furnace will be so efficient compared to your old one, you could be making money on it. Call Home Comfort Experts at 255-4600.
Yep, you got electrical issues, without a doubt. Have I told this story in a while? I mean, some of you have probably heard it, about how I scared the bejesus out of the Jaguar sales rep in Vegas because we had a Jaguar endorsement. And so we did the test drive. They wanted to show us the cars. Like, which one do you want? I want the XKR. I went out, had the sales lady there, and she's like, oh, yeah, you know, just do this. I'm like, I got this. And I started drifting out of their parking lot. And she went one of these, and I looked at her and I said, you're going to enjoy this ride. We went drifting. I went around the corner on, I think it was Durango, Sahara and Durango, for my Vegas peeps out there. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. She got back and she was like, I've never had a test drive like that before. I was like, it was fun though, right? She goes, yeah, that was the way of putting it. Because I guess people just go in, they get the Jaguar, and they just pull out and do a normal thing. I'm like, it's an XKR. This thing was meant to drive. Drive that bad boy. In Jaguars, the R means supercharged, by the way.
Hey, girl, I'm dying to know. How was that first date last night? Oh, I'd rather forget about it. It was awful. Vivian was great, and I could have talked to him all night. That's when we decided to drive to the beach and watch the sunset. Sign me up for one of these awful dates, would ya? Yeah, but he must drive with his shoes off or something. The smell of his car was unbearable. I tried to be nice and not say anything, but he has obviously gone nose blind to the smell. It reminded me of a high school.
Yeah, it is, publicly. Absolutely.
So I rolled the window
Facial recognition technology.
my hair. And you know I don't look this fabulous by accident. But it
It's
started to rain as we drove
on a lot of computers now too.
Yep. Well, they're talking about police use of it, but
Good.
they're deploying it in crowds now. So how accurate it is, I don't know. We'll find out. But you're in public. You got no right to privacy in public. So they can scan your license plates. They have this device that they use at events. It's in the back of a van. They drive by all the parked cars, and it's basically a mobile. What the hell is the machine called at the airport? No. It's the scanner, but it's not an X-ray. What the hell is it called again? It's basically one of those things, and it can see right through all these cars to see if there's any bombs or anything like that. I'm telling you, like, only Tom Coombs' color is off. He looks like he's not in the right RGB scale.
Got thunder at the studio. Of course, most of the listening area is still under a severe thunderstorm warning right now. 447, it's been extended in most of the listening area, although we do have some people in LaPorte say that the storm hit fast and furious and then moved on. But a lot of Buchanan's getting nailed with rain right now. There's been some reports of hail in various areas. We got wind. So again, just take shelter and be safe. If you see anything out there that happens, just let us know and we'll pass it on to the audience. 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. Do you want to thank R&B Car Company, locations in South Bend and Warsaw? R&B Car Company are your used car experts. So if you didn't have the Z-Gloss protection on your paint, you left your car outside and you got hailed and killed, you can go to R&B Car Company and get a new car. 2 rockets were fired at the Israeli city of Tel Aviv today, triggering air raid sirens. Now, they're saying that they intercepted one. I saw Haaretz said that they intercepted both. Everywhere else is saying they intercepted one. I see no pictures of an actual impact at this point, just the sirens and stuff. So I'm still looking. I mean, it may very well have hit somewhere. Usually there's video footage if it does impact. The Iron Dome is very effective at intercepting these rockets. A source told Fox News one of the rockets was intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system. People living in the area reported hearing an explosion in addition to sirens. Now, of course, most of the footage right now is of the sirens going off in Tel Aviv. Tel Aviv hasn't been hit by a rocket since 2014 when they were at war with Hamas. The Israel Defense Forces confirmed in a Hebrew language tweet that 2 rockets were fired into Israeli territory from the Hamas-controlled Gaza Strip. I believe, I want to look this up. I believe yesterday was the first time the U.S. acknowledged that Gaza was under Israeli control. I want to say it was Gaza. I could be wrong. So this could be in response to that. Let's see. Everything is all about the rocket attack right now. But I believe that yesterday was the first time the U.S. had officially recognized that Gaza was under Israeli control. I could be wrong. Israel's Channel 10 News, citing anonymous military officials, said that the rockets were Iranian-made Fajr rockets. It said one of the rockets was intercepted. The other landed in an uninhabited area. There were no reports of any injuries, thank God. Tel Aviv has not been attacked by a rocket or missile fire since 2014 with the war with Hamas militants. There's no immediate claim of responsibility. Earlier on Thursday, Hamas forces dispersed hundreds of Palestinian protesters protesting dire living conditions in the territory, which has been blockaded by Israel and Egypt since the militant group took power in 2007. Of course, there was an easy way to not be blockaded. They rejected that. Video circulated on social media showing police firing live rounds in the air, beating protesters, hauling them into police vehicles. Hamas says that it was restoring order after demonstrators burned tires and blocked roads. The burning of tires, I've gone over this before, the burning of tires serves as a smokescreen to smuggle people in. That's when they do their border raids. So the Palestinians in particular, what they do is, so Berrien and Cass County, here, we got an update on the storm update. We'll interrupt for those. Berrien, Cass, and St. Joseph County have now been extended to 4:53 for the severe thunderstorm warning. So appreciate the updates, Joe. If you're familiar with the Palestinian-Israeli border situation, what happens is the Palestinians organize these protests on a regular basis. And what they do is they burn tires. They burn tires at the border to create a smoke screen when they have a plan to get people across the border illegally. And those people usually carry out murder raids, okay? So if I'm looking at the news here this week, what do we have here? Where did it go? I just saw like 6 people were arrested, I think yesterday or the day before, coming across it. 5 Palestinians arrested after crossing into Israel from Gaza yesterday, okay? That's the Times of Israel. So they use these smoke screens that they use with tires to go ahead and mask their movements, and they use it as a distraction to go ahead and smuggle people in. Those people usually end up going into people's homes and stabbing people, or they go into the farmlands and they light fires in the field. So this is a common tactic with them. The Palestinians also routinely will tell everybody that we're working to get rid of those fires, that sort of stuff. But what we know from people who live there in Gaza and in other places is that they are frequently forced to do this by Hamas. Okay, so families are required to go protest, that sort of thing. If they don't protest, they lose their government subsidies, if you will, and government loosely. But basically, there's a stipend, there's a welfare system that's in place. And if you don't go protest the Israelis at the border, you lose that money. Plus, now you're in the bad graces, if you will, of Hamas. So that can always put your family in jeopardy. In addition to Hamas, the Gaza Strip is home to other militant groups, including Islamic Jihad, who used to be much more influential than they are now. I think they've kind of, a lot of their members have absorbed into other groups. They are Iranian-backed. They are particularly vicious when they do things. And they like ISIS, they do these public execution type things. Last month, the group boasted on Iranian television that Tehran had helped it develop a new missile capable of striking Tel Aviv. So last month, Islamic Jihad goes on TV and they say that Iran has helped them develop a new missile that can hit Tel Aviv. And then this month, 2 rockets are fired at Tel Aviv. So could be a coincidence. Could be them testing out those new rockets. So again, Israeli Defense Forces say that they intercepted one with the Iron Dome. The other one landed in an unoccupied area. Nobody was hurt. I don't have any footage of that. But this is kind of, par for the course. Happens every few months or so. We didn't have any heads up on this one that I'm aware of. Usually my IDF people will let me know, hey, keep your eye on the news for the next week or two. I didn't get any of that this time around. So I don't know if they were expecting this or not. 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. Can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. What else do we have here? Where did it go? Oh, yeah, Spotify. I wanted to let you know about this. Okay. I'm going to look into this myself because I have a Spotify premium account, but apparently everybody who has a Spotify premium account now gets Hulu for free. Everybody, not a new promotion, everybody who has it, okay? And so you get different tiers. You have the $9.99 premium, you get the ad-sponsored Hulu. If you have the $12.99, you get the ad-free version of Hulu, I believe. So I got to look at how to convert this because I pay for Hulu and Spotify right now. So you got
if you have a student Spotify account, like if you're in college,
it doesn't help me.
Right? No, but
okay,
because you get you got Hulu, Spotify, and Showtime.
Okay,
and so there's a whole way that it walks you through it pretty well if you go to your services and your profile.
Well, this was like just announced. I think it was announced yesterday, maybe the day before. I saw it yesterday. And I thought, okay, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, so it was on the 12th. And I hadn't seen it, but yeah, everybody, it's not just new subscribers. So if you have a Spotify premium account, you can get your Hulu for free now, and they're bundled. So they're doing this partnership thing. So if you're paying for Hulu and you're paying for Spotify, or if you have Spotify and want Hulu, there's an option for you to go ahead and do it. I'll put it in the Daily Show Prep. It was in Rolling Stone magazine, but I'm sure that they have all the information on Spotify's website. So I'll put it in the Daily Show Prep today for you to go ahead and check it out. I know I'll be converting over. Saves me, $6 a month or something like that. All right, MNC News Time is 4:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
My mom says you ought to share your student password with us.
No, it's yeah, I think it's a lot easier to do it via PC. So if you go
Hulu's mobile app is garbage.
Well, you can't even because I think you go to Spotify and you go to your profile and there's like a whole payment plan option. And you connect the services.
Okay. Yeah, I please to make sure because like with Hulu, my Hulu and my Netflix get hacked all the time. And Hulu does not let me disconnect devices from the mobile app.
Hold on. Elkhart just dropped a severe thunderstorm warning.
Okay.
I'll have that written down and updated for you. Also, St. Joseph, Michigan now too. So both St. Josephs.
Both St. Josephs.
Yeah.
Polls or have at least 65,000 donors, and at least 200 of those donors have to be
Elkhart County, 5. St. Joseph, Indiana, 25. Okay, Elkhart, St. Joseph, Cass, and St. Joseph.
In a press conference Thursday, Governor
Until
Whitmer and former New York Mayor
5:01.
Michael Loomer held a press conference to announce that Michigan would become the second state selected to benefit from a $50 million initiative aimed at tackling youth crisis. The funding will accelerate access to treatment and improve prevention efforts. Recent statistics suggest that more people die in the U.S. from opioid overdoses than from car crashes.
That is some blowing rain. One of my buddies is like, "You riding the bike today?" Nope. Have you seen the weather report?
Okay, so it is Elkhart, St. Joseph, Cass, St. Joseph. So both St. Joseph's, Elkhart, and Cass till 5:01. There's your update.
Thank you. Alex, put up your password. Bernie bro, but it's like with numbers and letters. That was pretty funny.
I'm going to take that and actually use it.
It actually looks like a pretty secure password.
Also,
add an exclamation point on there. Oh, yeah. Oh, he's got one in the middle. See? There we go.
Here's the thing, though. I should be able to Google current EAS alerts or whatever, and they should pop up.
I agree, and I tried doing that, and all I got routed to a premium service that you had to pay for.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I agree.
Hey,
any current,
here's what this is.
I agree with you. Any current EAS alert should be publicly available, and it should be easy to find. They might be publicly available, but they're not easy to find right now.
Oh, there's the rain. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's like blowing sideways. It's ugly out there.
Severe thunderstorm warning is in effect. Very windy conditions today with winds gusting upwards of
So, and here's what it takes you to. The National Weather Service website needs to be updated. Almost worse than our audition needs to be updated.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
It's like you can't find anything you want to find. And it's like latest warnings. Okay, cool. And it's just like it gives you a map. So you're like, okay, cool. I want to see severe thunderstorm warning.
Spotify family account for 5 people is $15 a month. Okay, cool. Why are you sending me that? I mean, I think that's neat.
And then so you're like, okay, cool. I want to go to this area. And so you're like, okay, cool. So I found these alerts. But it's old text style. It's like typewriter text.
Yeah.
And like hard to read. Like, it's just like a block of text. Locations impacted are not, so it gives you city names. Everyone else does counties. So it's like Niles, Dewajak, Cass, Packagon, however you pronounce that one. Penn, Mandela.
Packagon? Is that what you mean? Pokagon?
Pokagon.
Okay. I shouldn't laugh, okay? The only reason I laugh is I know you've been here forever.
I've been here 11 years.
Okay, but I've been here for 7, and I got so much crap.
Michigan Lake, Dewey Lake, Daly, LaGrange, Berrien, Somerville, Indian Lake, Sandy Beach, Diamond Lake, and something else.
Luckily, Joe's too young to vote.
I voted in the most recent election, not the presidential one.
Yeah.
I actually went out and voted.
Those are called midterms, Joe.
That's what it is. Couldn't remember, but I went out and voted. I was there. One of the people who...
So was Brian Williams. It's okay. Tip of the spear.
And then one of the people who was actually helping run the voting center was actually somebody who I graduated with.
Do what?
One of the people who was running the voting center, he was checking IDs to make sure they're actually old enough. He was actually a kid I graduated with. It's actually really cool. And everyone else was in their 80s. Cool to see you.
Usually young people don't volunteer to do it.
And that's why I was like, hey, this is good.
know they're confident and ready. Cintas helps with their fire protection and first aid safety programs, handles their apparel solutions.
Real Tupac, 3 felonies. Gay Tupac, Smollett, 16 felonies. Of course, real Tupac only turned gangsta for his career. He was actually was he a ballerina or was he a classical dancer? I forget which one. But that's how he got discovered, was that he was a dancer. And I think his first movie was that movie with Michael Jackson's sister. What was her name? Janet Jackson. I think that was like his first big break, and then he went like gangsta for his career. But yeah, he's like a ballerina or something like that.
I am not a realtor or associated with any realty company. I'm a private real estate investor.
I mean, I have much respect for ballerinas. It's just that, you know, most people don't know that Tupac was like a dance.
No. It's just like it. Oh, it's by the way. In it, I knew.
I literally just got off the bike and got in the house. You heard me talking about you, huh? That's funny. Well, when you posted that, I was like, no, I don't think so. Like on the way to work, I'll probably be fine. On the way home from work, probably not going to be fine. But it's running. I went and got my portable jump starter yesterday, and it worked perfect.
It only happens on one day, and just 100 people can attend.
And my 2-year-old is not scared of the motorcycle. She doesn't want to sit on it yet. She's not scared of it.
Wednesday, April 3rd. This is where you'll learn the little-known strategies that can help manage the tax efficiency of your IRA and 401k. A loophole with the Trump tax plan that could be a financial windfall. Plus, how you can manage Social Security taxes to maximize your benefits. It will be hosted by myself, Casey Weed, certified financial planner and president of Howard Bailey Financial. You may have seen or heard my television or radio show Retire with Purpose over the last decade, or even read one of my published books. To register, call 866-482-9559.
At least they're moving quick. I'll give them that.
Less in taxes than everyone else. Register by calling 866-482-9559, 866-482-9559, or visit SaveYourBenefitsIndiana.com.
4:31 p.m. and ending at 5:01 p.m.
Yeah, you can get the, but it doesn't have all of the EAS alerts though.
I know
it's we know about the map and everything. It's just that we want to see a list of the EAS, right?
If there is one,
thank you, but
difficult.
Yeah,
find anything you want.
Yeah. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595953. Elkhart, St. Joseph, Indiana, and Michigan, Cass County. Severe thunderstorm warning extended to 5:01 p.m. And the good news is that everybody who's been in an area where the storm hit says it moved through pretty quick. Sun came out pretty quick. So hopefully that will continue to be the case. And we haven't heard any words about any potential tornado watches or anything like that. I know that was a concern yesterday as they were watching it because the storms that were coming through the area had the potential to maybe produce tornadoes. Earlier today, they were saying we're still watching, but it looks less likely that could happen. And no watches have been issued or anything like that. So it just appears to be thunderstorms at this point. Hopefully it stays that way. But they appear to be moving pretty darn quick. So we appreciate those updates. And of course, if you see anything else, let us know. Raining cats and dogs, sun is out, weird weather. Yeah, exactly. All right. 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. Oh, yeah, I meant to look at this new manscaping shaver. Sorry, the ad just popped up on my... The
one that's like, they call it like the lawnmower or whatever, or like the lawnmower.
It's called Manscaped, I think.
Yeah, no,
Is that it?
I've seen those ads, yeah.
They're
kind of comical ads.
They seem to have pretty funny ads and things like that, but it's like an all-purpose shaver. So, Gillette had that one, like the beard trimmer one.
Yeah.
It broke after the second time I used it.
Wow.
And I was too lazy to get my money back, which it was like $20. And I was like, eh.
The ad that it's like they took like one of the ads I saw for this is like they took an actual like pair of like normal hair clippers and like did that, and they had like a picture like this next shot was on his face of him like in pain. I was like, that's kind of funny.
Okay,
pretty good.
I've got one. I bought like a cheap one. It works pretty good actually, but it doesn't have the features that this one has, which I would appreciate, I think, a lot more. So I gotta check this out. Sorry, sometimes ads just pop up, and I feel the need to go ahead and tell you about this stuff. Yeah,
it's content, Casey.
In case you didn't know, there's professional manscaping devices now. So they do your face and other things, like maybe that hefty naked guy's nipples who was on the show yesterday.
I forgot about that.
How could you forget about that? It's still seared into my memory.
Oh no, I don't.
Just trying to do my show, and some overweight firefighter from Penn is playing with his nipples on TV. What the heck is that about?
That was weird.
I think they're doing that story today.
Oh, maybe we'll see it again.
Yeah, I think they said like today at 6. All right, Connecticut Supreme Court ruled Thursday the families of the 26 victims murdered in the 2012 Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting can in fact sue the gun manufacturer who made the rifle used by the shooter. So again, court being stupid. The ruling was a divided 4-3 decision. 4 people are crazy, 3 people are reasonable, that allowed families of the victims to proceed with the wrongful death suit that was originally filed in 2015 but thrown out by a lower court in 2016 because, again, the manufacturer didn't do anything. Justice Richard Palmer, there's a joke there. Richard Palmer wrote for the majority. I want to say something so bad, and I know it's FCC compliant. I just know I'm going to get a call from my boss, so I'm not going to say it. The regulation of advertising that threatens the public's health, safety, and morals has long been considered a core exercise of the state's police powers, Palmer wrote. None of that applies. Absolutely none of that applies. The lawsuit alleges that gun manufacturer Remington glorified the AR-15 weapon and marketed it to young people. This is why somebody sent me a text earlier and said, I've never seen an AR-15 advertisement. I was like, why are they sending me this? Now, I have, but they're rare. You almost never see AR-15 ads. Usually, the Black Rifle doesn't need an ad campaign. It's that good. Talk about word of mouth advertising. Jeez. I think Daniel Defense, though, they make really good ARs. I think Daniel Defense had that Super Bowl ad a few years back that got banned from the Super Bowl, and that I think that was an AR-15 focused ad. Don't quote me on that. So they're saying that they glorified the AR-15, and why wouldn't you? It's an amazing platform, and then they marketed it to young people. How can you market it to young people? They can't buy it. Anyway, so that, they're saying, led to the 20 children and 6 faculty members of Sandy Hook Elementary being gunned down by Adam Lanza. And of course, they are completely ignoring the police didn't do their job, the FBI didn't do their job, the background system hadn't done their job, sheriff didn't do his job, school didn't do their job, school district didn't do their job, the superintendent specifically didn't do his job, and the multiple faculty members who were on grounds that day didn't do their job. Oh, and they didn't do their job by fulfilling the recommendations of the former Secret Service agent who went in there and did the exact same thing that he did, mock killing a bunch of students. But it's all Bushmaster and Remington's fault. Bushmaster XM15E2S is the rifle that they use, made by Remington. Lanza used that Bushmaster rifle during the shooting, which the plaintiffs argue is a similar weapon to the AR-15. The family's goal has always been to shed light on Remington's calculated and profit-driven strategy to expand the AR-15 market. You mean manufacturers of products want to expand their markets and get more people to buy their stuff? Interesting. I've never heard of that before. That seems like some kind of a coup conspiracy, but okay. And they did it at the expense of American safety. How did they? None of this makes any sense. The fact that you have a judge even saying this stuff is proof positive of an activist judiciary. The 2005 Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act protects civil liability actions from being brought or continued against manufacturers, distributors, dealers, or importers of firearms or ammo for damages, injunctive, or other relief resulting from the misuse of their products by others, which the defense has argued protects the gun manufacturer from being sued, because it does, but these 4 judges, damn the law. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Hendrickson.
News Talk
95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Was it Sandy Hook or the Secret Service agent did that? I thought it was a different.
Oh wait, you know what? It wasn't Sandy Hook. You're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. I gotta. Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of Parkland. What's up, homie?
Not much. Saving the day.
Oh. I meant.
We just. He. So I think Ben heard it, and we were thinking through the implications of people buying it for that feature alone, and then getting butthurt when it didn't work that way.
If your girlfriend takes a baseball bat to it, ceramic sea gloss is not going to protect your car.
Can you read this? Is that readable to you?
Wealthy Thursday? No, I have no idea what this is.
Yeah.
Do you know who it's from?
I think it's Mark.
I put the new Discord link in the video today. So it's right there at the top. Go to the description. That's the new Discord link.
Usually Thursday?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's in like Sharpie, so it might have been easier to.
God, another one? Jesus.
It might have been easier to read if it was in pen,
Maybe.
but I can't tell. I hope it's not for us.
Well, if it is, I'm not caring about it.
So anyway, thank you for the National Weather Service link. We're aware of it. The problem with that is it, you've almost got to search for the area specifically. And I would like to just see all EAS alerts issued for this state and this state. That's what I would like to see. If they made that a little bit easier for us, that would make it much better. Right, it's done, yeah, it's done horribly.
It's alphabetized or something silly.
Yeah, it's a pain in the butt.
Might as well just not.
It's an old website. I mean,
it needs to be updated worse than our edition.
Yeah, it's just not done properly.
This is version 2.
Still works?
Usually, it does its job. The point is that.
I know. I feel you, man. I feel you. All right. Catch you guys later.
Hey, since I can't cut that wood, you just want another Punisher and then just get what's left of that wood back?
Sure.
I keep meaning to ask you that. I've got like just one of the Punishers laying around. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what I was going to do with it otherwise was I'm still trying to. I got to fix my scroll saw. Once I can reach that,
okay.
I'm going to put a new blade on that. I'm going to try to cut those scales and do what I told you 8 months ago
right.
I was going to do.
Word.
So yeah, if you just send it back to me, I'll just use it for that.
Necessarily what we see, which we're trying to give you.
Otherwise, I might
finished product that reflects you.
I might get one of those neck knives from you and build some scales with that wood for the neck knife.
Okay. Cool.
Come to see Kramer Interiors.
Swizzo Dizzo.
Oh, I forgot. You're in moving mode. You're discovering stuff that's been hiding for months.
Yeah, it's and I'm trying to get some stuff done before I have to pack up the laser and all that, because the Kydex shop, basically I have to take the Kydex shop, I have to pack it up, I have to get it to the new place when we get in, and I have to unpack that before anything else. Because I'm in the middle. I'm trying to get this. I'm almost finished, but I'm trying to get this order of 20 holsters to Alabama Police Department out before I move. But then I've got a company who needs a bunch of knife sheaths for their factory knives. So it's like I'm just in the middle of this real. It's horrible.
Is it relatively automated, or you have to be hands-on with that?
These two, I have to be hands-on. Unfortunately, I want to get to a point where I get them catted up, and then I have the mold made. And so if I have the mold made, I press on the mold, and then I have a trim jig, and I just go around the router, and I'm done. All I have to do is fold them at that point. But I'm not there yet. So right now everything is done by hand, and it takes just way too long. It's not difficult. It's just that, like, I've had a system going where I heat the Kydex, mold the gun, and then I assemble a knife. Heat the Kydex, mold the gun, and then I assemble a knife. Because I have to wait like 15 minutes for the damn thing to cool off. Right. So it's been a pain in the butt, but it's getting there.
Sweet. Cool. Well, have a good show. I'm just finishing up some stuff.
Alrighty. Go to the description of the video on YouTube. In the description, very top, new sponsor. Join the Horde on Discord. That link right there. Copy that link and put it in your browser. You'll be able to get it.
For more information or a free estimate, call 574-862-31.
Okay, Speed, legit, stay on my ass about that because I'm gonna need to get that. So I need the gun split in half, and I need a butterfly mold made of it. And I'll get you the HDPE, or I'll reimburse you. I don't care. I need that done so I can get these pressed quicker. Because if we get the one order that I think we're gonna get, I'm like hiring people, and there's no way in hell I'm doing this with a taco press.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. Once again, thunderstorm warnings going until after 5 o'clock for most of the listening area. By the way, I apologize. Last segment, I was mixing up Sandy Hook and Parkland. So I was saying some things about Sandy Hook and some things about Parkland. So I do apologize about that. I'm going to blame the cold. Not the cold weather, but my head cold. What do we got here? So what they are saying is I can sue a car company if somebody hits me with their car. Yes, they are saying that. That's exactly what these judges in this case are saying. If somebody runs you over with their car, you could sue the car company because it's obviously the car company's fault because they marketed, as somebody pointed out in the live stream, especially if it's a young driver, they marketed their cars to young people to drive those cars. And then the young person went ahead and hit you. So, yeah, that's the logic of this, though. There is no logic. It's just judges being stupid. And here's the thing that irritates me about the legal system is when you go through multiple courts, you go through the appeals process and everything else, and your case is dismissed. I mean, the idea that you can just go ahead and keep doing it over and over and over and over and over again is irritating as heck. You've already had your chance. It failed. If there's no new evidence or no new thing for you to go ahead and argue, you shouldn't be allowed to just refile the same stupid case in judge shop. And that's exactly what's happening here. Have you heard of Jacob Wohl? I've never heard of Jacob Wohl, okay? But this is a program that prides itself on honesty. Remember, facts are facts. The truth is never biased. And there is a right-wing provocateur named Jacob Wohl. He appears to have sent himself death threats in fake hate crime. I don't know who he is, though, okay? I've never heard of this dude. Jacob Wohl, who has recently banned from Twitter for creating... Another pop-up. Another pop-up. Great. Ben Shapiro, you got to get your act together, man. Your pop-up ads suck. Anyway, Jacob Wohl, who was recently banned from Twitter for creating multiple fake accounts, allegedly used one of those accounts to send himself death threats. Wohl and his colleagues, Laura Loomer, who I am no big fan of, and Ollie Alexander, don't know who that is, recently released a short documentary, air quote, documentary, about their investigation into whether Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat of Minnesota, don't you know, married her younger brother and got him into the country, thereby violating immigration law. See, who is this? Is this Ash Show? Ash Show says, I watched the documentary, so you don't have to, and the team offers no evidence to support their thesis, okay? But one scene in the documentary has drawn accusations, most notably from journalist Tony Webster, that Wohl and Alexander may have filed a false police report claiming to have received a death threat from an account created by Wohl himself. Uh-oh. In this right-wing documentary on Representative Ilhan Omar, releases tonight by Jacob Wohl, Laura Loomer, and Ollie Alexander, they included this screenshot of a threat that they received. There's one problem. NBC News earlier reported that Jacob Wohl created the account which sent the so-called threats. That's not good. About 12 minutes into the film, Alexander and Wohl exit a black SUV and enter a building. They're shown talking to someone inside about the alleged so-called threats that they received. As they're talking, the first so-called threat is displayed on the screen from an account with a profile picture identical to that of @DrakeHolmes612, an account reportedly created and managed by Wohl, according to the Daily Beast. The account allegedly belonged to, quote, Drake Holmes, a Minneapolis-born and raised diversity coordinator. The documentary shows several other threats, and it is not clear whether the one that appears to have been written by Wohl is actually included in the police report. Now, that's important, okay? So this is just an accusation. It's not definitive, okay? The Daily Beast Will Summer obtained the police report and says that it does mention some tweets that were provided to police, but doesn't list which ones. Loomer told Summer that she had nothing to do with the police report, but Alexander suggested that Wool did share the questionable tweet, according to the video. Jacob Wool may have actually violated the law. Maybe Alexander said. Jacob handed the paper over to the police. That included a screenshot from his from this account, and that's on him. So Laura Loomer says, I got nothing to do with this. Ollie Alexander says, I have nothing to do with this. And it appears that Jacob Wool may have broken the law. We're waiting for confirmation on that. Okay. It confirms that he's not operating at a level where where there's useful information, but kind of stupid, vanity-filled, ego-fueled disinformation, Alexander said in his video, and that won't look good for Jacob. The 25-minute film created by the trio consists of mostly Wool, Loomer, and Alexander talking about Omar. This has been an accusation against Omar for some time, that she may have married her brother to get him into the country to skirt immigration laws. It's never really been definitively proved. There's some interesting information about it, so if this ends up being the case, and I think Laura Loomer does some good things, don't get me wrong, it's just that I'm not a big fan of her work, and she's been caught fabricating some stuff in the past. So, I'm one of those people called a character flaw. When I catch you lying once, I tend to not believe you unless you really have ironclad evidence. So I just tend to steer clear from her, although I do know that she does some good work. I know some of you are fans of hers, but at the same time, the trust for me isn't there. And this guy who I've never heard of apparently is associated with her and has been possibly fabricating these threats against him. And that's not going to look good for him either, especially if he did include it in a police report. We got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Where did you get that from, Mike? If you have a case and it goes through the court process and is tossed out, and you've gone through the appeals process to the higher courts and the case is done, you don't have any appeals, you don't have a higher court to appeal to, being able to file that case again without new evidence is a waste of time, if you ask me. And at that point, you're judge shopping. So I'm not talking about the appeals process through the court system at all, but they exhausted their appeals process through the court system the last time they brought this case up. So
you got extended again to 543.
543.
Severe thunderstorm warning for Berrien and St. Joseph, Michigan, Cass, and St. Joseph, Indiana. Berrien, Cass, St. Joseph's till 543.
So really, it's the St. Joseph's that are the same areas that we had before.
Yeah, just no longer Elkhart.
Word. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
The FAA order yesterday followed suspensions already underway in multiple countries. Boeing is reportedly now suspending deliveries of new MAX jets as well. Across the U.S., thousands of flights canceled or delayed, much of it weather-related, after a so-called bomb cyclone rips the central U.S. Heavy snow, hurricanes, and also storming tornadoes.
Yeah, fair point, Murphy. Somebody says, if you send yourself a death threat, is that not a suicide note? Funny.
All right, I got to tell you about Pastor Mike. That is going to be happening on Friday, but forecast.
Strong gusty wind.
The National Weather Service in northern Indiana has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for northeastern St. Joseph County, Indiana, Cass County in southwestern Michigan, northwestern St. Joseph County in southwestern Michigan, southeastern Berrien County in southwestern Michigan, until 5:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At 4:57 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, severe thunderstorms were located along.
So they're saying 5:30. You have it later?
According to the screen, it says 5:43.
Okay.
The alert on my phone also says something.
Parents of R. Kelly's girlfriend turn over evidence to the feds. Oh boy.
Locations in Texas include South Bend, Mishawaka, Niles, Three Rivers, Buttigieg, Georgetown, Granger, Cassopolis, Edwardsburg, Marcellus, Roseland, Bergen, LaGrange, Adamsville, Juneau Lake, and Donald Lake. This includes Interstate 80 in Indiana between miles.
So this is interesting. If you're Elizabeth Warren and you are trying to break up Facebook, that's a campaign issue for you. Why are your fundraising emails directing you to your Facebook page?
Directed to my Patreon page.
She should do a Patreon. If a candidate did a Patreon, I bet it would be really popular. You have to make sure that people don't go over their allotted donation requirements and stuff, but Smollett pled not guilty today, by the way.
Oh, what a surprise.
Shocked. Yeah. The White House refers to Beto O'Rourke as Robert Francis. They're taking the Beto out of it. That's funny. I should probably play the Beto O'Rourke mashup because he said he wasn't going to run for president. Remember, his marriage depended on him not running for president, and now he's running for president.
Oh, it acts as a phone stand.
Oh, that makes sense.
That's a lot more sense than what I was using before.
Will your phone slip out, though, or does it have something on that bottom that...
It's sticky.
Okay.
So like it sticks to your back of your phone.
So we'll see if it works.
Well, I'm not going to put it on my phone.
It doesn't work.
Well, it's because I don't...
Oh, the sticky. Okay, gotcha. That's sticky. I thought you meant like grip sticky.
No, it's like grip sticky.
Gotcha.
You have to physically stick it under your phone so it's permanent.
I got you. We're 1 month away from the final season of Game of Thrones. So here's the question: do I watch it week by week, or do I wait until it's done and then burn through it? I hate watching shows one episode at a time now. Like, it drives me absolutely bonkers. They usually don't have long episodes. I don't know how much the final season is.
Pretty long. They released
I mean, like, long number of them.
Long seasons.
Yeah.
I don't think, I mean, if the season isn't that long, I would just burn through it.
Just started raining in Bristol. Rosario Dawson is dating Cory Booker?
It's officially stopped raining here. The sun is shining through. I mean, you could probably tell by looking at Casey's window. But.
Okay. Game of Thrones is really good, Warren. It's really good. If I were to say that a huge hit is overhyped, it's Westworld. First season of Westworld is really good, and now I feel obligated to watch it just to get to the end of the damn story. But the old movie, yeah.
The old movie's not half bad.
But
I watched it when the first season of Westworld came out.
I waited a long time on Game of Thrones, and then I finally watched it. I'm like, okay, this is really good. So
I'd rather read the books than watch the TV show.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to spend. Those are.
No, I've been very happy with Game of Thrones.
I've read some pretty long books. I don't know if I could sit down and do it.
I get bored reading fiction. I can't read fiction.
I just bought myself the graphic novelization. We stuck together all the comic books of Long Halloween. Batman Long Halloween.
Yeah.
So I sat down and read that last night.
I think Tommy saw Through the Spider-Verse, and he was like, it was worth wait. And I'm like, where do you even see that? Where is it?
Is it not airing? Is it not playing anymore?
I don't know. I have no idea. Like, is it on TV? Is that where it is?
It's a movie.
Okay. Where can I find it, though?
I'll go check it.
It's animated, right?
Yeah. I mean, it'll be on Netflix soon. Because it's a Marvel property.
30 times. Many are looking for an alternative.
And Disney's streaming service isn't going to hit till 2020, isn't it?
I don't know.
Juul is a vapor product. It contains nicotine for satisfying transition.
Sony Digital can buy it, obviously.
That's you to copy it on Prime and watch it.
I'm not gonna buy that.
Or rent it, or whatever.
$20 to buy that.
Okay, do like the $1.99 rent thing for 3 days. Isn't that a thing Prime offers?
They offer what?
They offer like a $1.99 rent thing for like 3 days.
$2.99 usually.
So though, it's literally a tenth of the price.
It might be $1.99 if you don't do HD or something like that. Redbox is actually cheaper than all of the streaming services to rent anything. Believe it or not.
No, I believe that.
I think Rosario is a campaign thing because he's in the closet. I don't know.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. All right, so we got Berrien, we got Cass, we got St. Joseph, Michigan, St. Joseph, Indiana, all under a severe thunderstorm warning until I think it's like 5:45 now. I know that the EAS or whatever that just came through had said like 5:30, but we have the live ones behind our heads is like 5:45. So it's continuing to extend out and branch out. Of course, if you get those weather alerts on your cell phone, you can pick the counties that you care about, and you'll get all of those updates the moment that they are issued. Text the word weather right now to 45364, and then we'll send you a link on where to pick your counties, and then you have to hit yes or no, Y or N when we text it to you. Do you want to opt into these? And just hit Y one time, and it'll opt you into all of the counties you care about. So again, text the word weather right now to 45364 to get those alerts right there on your cell phone. I also want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle, Indiana. Second Amendment Arms and Range will give you half off your range time if you mention me. If you don't mention me, you're not going to get that 50% off, which means you get to shoot for half as long on the same price. So go to secondamendmentarms.net, get more information about that. Lindsey Graham, about time. Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham pledged today, that he will hold hearings to get to the bottom of whether the FBI misled the surveillance court judges by using the Steele dossier to obtain spy warrants against former Trump campaign advisor. I promise everybody in the country that in the Senate, we're going to have hearings about the FISA process, he said. Graham, as a Republican, has focused on how the FBI handled the dossier, which was written by Christopher Steele, former British spy who investigated President Donald Trump on behalf of the Clinton campaign and the DNC. The FBI relied heavily on the Steele dossier to obtain 4 Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrants against Carter Page, a former Trump campaign aide. In the dossier, Steele alleged that Page met with Kremlin insiders during the 2016 campaign. Steele also accused Page of working with Trump campaign chairman Paul Manafort to conspire with the Russians. All of the evidence suggests that that is untrue. Page has denied all of this. He's actually filed a lawsuit. But, one of the big things about this was whether or not we knew that the FISA warrants were obtained on false information. The big question was, did the FBI mislead the FISA court, or did Fusion GPS mislead the FBI? Okay, that was the big thing. We ended up finding out that the FBI misled the FISA court. The FBI knew that the information was inaccurate when they went into that FISA court and they used that dossier to obtain those warrants. That's the problem. So the FBI actually committed a criminal act. Bruce Orr has testified that he let the FBI know before they sought those FISA warrants that Glenn Simpson from Fusion GPS was doing anything he could to go ahead and defeat Trump. So He said he was extremely biased. The research wasn't trustworthy, and the FBI ignored what Bruce Orr was talking about. We also know that Peter Strzok has deleted conversations that he had with Lisa Page. Lisa Page is, of course, rolling over on everybody, and probably upset that her boyfriend didn't leave his wife for her. We don't know, but she is singing like a songbird, and everything she says is bad for the Obama administration, possibly the president himself. Not Trump president, but Obama president, is bad for the former Attorney General Loretta Lynch, the Department of Justice in general, former FBI leaders with Comey and McCabe. And everything she is saying is that there was a criminal conspiracy that emanated from the White House to prevent Hillary Clinton from being charged for committing a crime. And that's really where the investigation is now at this juncture, is that Hillary Clinton should have been charged. We all know she should have been charged. We all know she broke the law. She should have been charged. The DOJ killed that, even though the FBI's lawyer wanted to charge her. The Department of Justice killed that. And we know that, again, from text messages with Lisa Page to Peter Strzok, that the president wanted to be kept in the loop and informed of any new developments, unquote. So that doesn't look very good. And it doesn't allow, not that I'm saying that Obama's going to end up behind bars because of this or anything like that, because the media will certainly cover for him and they'll let it go. But it all appears to have been something that emanated from the White House. Okay. Anyway, 574-2595, 95.3. So now that we know that the FBI misled the FISA court, and we know that for certain, we have the documents to prove it, not hearsay. Graham says that he is going to, and on the Senate side of things, he's going to start pursuing that investigation and try to get to the bottom of it. Now, the individuals who are involved in that conspiracy against the FISA court, this is what some people have been saying. Some people are like, why won't the FISA court speak out? Why aren't these judges outraged? And they might very well be outraged, but you also have to understand something. Well, I think that we probably want them to speak out and we want them to say the FBI misled us. The FISA court is a very secret court. And even though we know who the judges are that are on the court, they're probably keeping themselves tight-lipped over this because it is a secret court by nature. And to bring themselves into the public light, even to expose criminal behavior or abuse at the hands of a government institution like the FBI, still kind of goes against what they're created to do. Doug Collins, by the way, has also released the congressional testimony, all of it, of Peter Strzok, which we haven't had up until this point in time either. So that has now been released as well. 574-2595, 95.3. That's 2595-953. Our next Pass the Mic event with yours truly is set for Friday, March 22nd at Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill. We're going to be talking about this and a whole host of other issues, including all of the candidates. Beto O'Rourke got involved in the campaign. If I have time today, I'll play you a nice little mashup, because remember, he promised he wouldn't run for president because his marriage couldn't handle it. And now he's running for president because the planet only has 12 years to survive or something. So we'll talk about that and much more at the Pass the Mic. Again, that is Friday, March 22nd, Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill. We do this at noon, and we'll create the Facebook event here and share it in short order. I don't have control over that, so some people have been asking me about it. But we also have the specially priced 95.3 MNC menu with some of my favorite dishes over there for a special price. And again, that is Pass the Mic, Friday, March 22nd at Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill from 95.3 MNC. Your phone calls on this and more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
See Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Close enough.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. 25 years of exceptional food, tremendous
No thanks to Sponic, but I appreciate it. My torrenting days are behind me.
Comfort Experts heating specialist 5-day forecast.
A severe thunderstorm warning is in effect.
Getting colder again for the weekend. Temperatures fall through the day on Friday. We start in the 40s, but we'll drop into the 30s. A chance of rain and snow mixing together, but not much precipitation. 20s Friday night, 36 the high on Saturday, mostly cloudy. Back to 40 on Sunday, partly cloudy, and 42 on Monday. Temperatures slowly warming.
So Smollett's attorney, which is saying that the charges against his client are false, but did you hear what he called the charges against Smollett like a week or two ago? He called it a media gang rape on his client. Yeah. Exactly.
And all of the investigations and hearings into the Trump campaign and White House. That and more issues that the news delivers. And as always, there's a specially priced 95.3 menu for you to enjoy.
Hey, I just told you about Pass the Mic.
Almost like you have to do it every show. Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
Welcome to Chris's Craft Corner. Let's have a beer. Today we're going to have a Great Lakes Chill Wave Double IPA. A double IPA, it's weird. There's no standard definition for what that is out there, but for me personally, if I see double IPA on the label, I'm expecting a lot more hop flavor, a lot stronger bitterness, a lot stronger aroma, and I'm also going to expect a higher ABV. And with Chill Wave,
I will pass that on to him.
9% ABV, 80 IBUs. They want to put in Chill Wave in honor of
Listener, we'd like you to check out a YouTube video titled The Brains Behind Alexandria.
Yes, I have been sent that link by several people. Yes. Yippity yippity yip. Yip 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 yip.
He got his blazer on now.
Chevy still make those?
No. The physical clothing.
I'm not gonna lie, there's a monster truck like Chevy, it's like the Chevy Blazer, but it's closed in. Yeah, wait, the Blazer was closed in. I'm thinking of the truck, sorry. It's like a monster truck version of it with a big old cowl hood on there that's like mispainted. I'm not gonna lie, I'm considering it. I don't need a new car, but it would be nice to have a car that I could put my company advertisements on. I can't really put my company advertisements on that neon.
No, you can't.
It doesn't really. But if I'm driving a monster truck, old Chevy Blazer with a cowl hood on there, I can paint that bad boy flat black and put all of my stuff on there. And it makes sense. It works. It works as an advertising vehicle. Everything's good on the, I'm just going to go ahead and redo it. I don't remember if I redid it for the 5 o'clock hour on YouTube chat. There's no Bronco version of that right now, Mom. I'm just looking for a vehicle that works for my company that I can get cheap. I do like the new Colorados, though. Those new Colorados are my second favorite truck. Those things are awesome. And I actually like the red, and I usually don't like red cars.
Cars get pulled over.
They do get pulled over more. The red that they use on those Colorados, though, man, I don't know if it's the shade of red or if it's the lines of the truck, but it just pops off of that damn truck. Looks good. Ain't none of that happening for some time, though. They do have at La Valley, they have like a 1990s Corvette. It's like $4,000. I'm like, Never been a big Corvette person, but for $4,000, that could be a project car. It doesn't need a lift. Oh, you mean for my car? Yeah. Had a 6-inch lift on my car. Have the neon running around with monster truck tires on it.
Boutique Italian wine selected by Vince Carlson with her perfectly delectable 5-star Italian dish.
Dude, yeah, I didn't know you had one of those. I wouldn't mind one of those. I just gotta have the money. I get all of this friggin' money going out right now. It's killing me. Those are nice cars, though, dude. Those Blazers, the military Blazers. That's what was in Commando too, right? Didn't they use that one in Commando?
Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
I'd love a vehicle like that.
Where at?
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. St. Joseph in Indiana and Michigan, Cass and Berrien County. Thunderstorm warning going until about 5:45. So keep on the lookout of that. Some places are saying that it's already blown through, but we have the official alerts out there. So again, if you see anything that we need to pass on to the listeners, let us know. By the way, your traffic and weather are driven by R&B Car Company. Locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are used car experts. What do we have here? Lloyd, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
I'll let you know of this. I'm really kind of ticked at CNN because we've got all of this news that Lisa Page's testimony and all the stuff we're finding out about that.
Yep.
And then on my news feed today, what do I get? A thing from CNN, a story that it was a really bad day for Trump in the Russian collusion thing today.
No, it wasn't.
And so I read the story, and there was nothing new. And then, of course, in 5 paragraphs in, as you say, there's a thing about, of course, there's never been any direct evidence of any collusion there. But I'm just thinking of that. What is CNN doing but running cover to make people think that there's some big thing going on with the Manafort, with his sentencing, and how that's such big news with the collusion thing when it's nothing. And yet we've got all this new good information that is very meaningful. And it's just, I don't know when I read an article by Leonard Pitts saying that how Fox, if they would start acting like a news organization, that they would deserve to be able to handle the Democratic presidential debate. And it's like, how does he stay employed with the lack of critical thinking that he exhibits whenever you can go and pick a dozen stories a day to show you, that that's not the case. And so
and that's interesting too, Lloyd, because what's the one big cable network that hasn't been caught cheating or helping a candidate in a debate? Yeah, Fox. They're the only ones. MSNBC got caught. CNN's been caught. So, Fox is the only ones that have not actually showed up to help a candidate in a debate. So, plus, the news people handle the moderating of the debate. Their news people are very good. But this is, you bring up great points because, I saw this yesterday. Trump tweeted out that he was basically cleared of collusion. And that keeps happening. Every time they try to get somebody in his inner circle or former inner circle about collusion, they end up saying that, there's no collusion. There's nothing there. And then the press goes out there and goes, no, that's actually not what happened. And they have no evidence at all. And it is, in fact, what happens. We saw it with Cohen. They were saying the same thing about Cohen's testimony, that Cohen somehow was proving collusion, when in fact Cohen said there was no collusion. His testimony completely exonerated the president of collusion. His whole testimony was that the president knew about the payout, which again is not a crime. And then he tried to take the angle that the president told him to threaten people. Well, threaten people could mean anything. If you release my college transcripts, I'm going to sue you. That's a threat. There's nothing illegal about it.
The crazy thing about the transcripts deal is that why does he have to threaten them to let them know something that is against the law for them to do? Why does he? And they make it sound like a scandal that he had to do that, whereas when in reality, the fact that he felt obliged to do that because of the treatment he was receiving.
Correct.
They make it sound out like it's bad on him to threaten them to do it, when it's really more that, that he wouldn't have threatened them. Somebody might have thought, oh, we'll go ahead and do this.
I think I have to go back in time, but I'm pretty sure that John Kerry issued a similar threat with his military records, because that was a big contention in his campaign, was that his military records proved that he wasn't what he was portraying himself to be. And so there was a lot of people pushing to have his military records, made public. And I believe that he issued a legal threat for that. I'd have to go back and look, but you're 100% right. There's no evidence of collusion whatsoever or any of that. But when you have a legitimate issue with the Department of Justice inside the executive branch of government quashing a criminal investigation
because of the optics appear to be politics, while at the same time, the person who heads up that department is having secret meetings with the subject's husband. That's a huge scandal. Oh, and then you have law enforcement misleading a court, which would be a story in any case where you have law enforcement misleading a court in order to put somebody behind bars or to get a warrant for somebody. It's a huge story no matter what. And to have the media not cover that stuff it's abysmal. And they are who they say that they decry. And that's what's been happening with CNN. CNN is not a news organization anymore. They are absolutely an operation. They're a front for the Democratic Party. And no organization should be that way.
You probably saw a little blurb of where 90 million people are paying for CNN and they have less than 1 million viewers.
Correct.
Just because there's that many people and subscribers to that, and they get $1 billion a year for where in reality they deserve a tenth of that.
Most of CNN's viewers are in commercial locations.
Yeah.
We've looked at the research because you can't put Fox on because people automatically assume it's right wing. You can't put MSNBC on because MSNBC even says they're left wing. So CNN tries to pretend that they're in the middle. And if you put CNN on, it's considered the least damaging option for public relations for a business. So that's what they put on. And that's why they're in the airports and things like that. We went over the contract and how that happened years ago. But
well, my employer actually, I will say that they'll let people change the channel on what's on the public TV.
Good for them.
Things. The funny thing was that though they got some complaint from somebody about the what was on there. And so they got back with them, and and I guess the person actually called somebody on, and they just said, "Oh, well, here's the remote. Just change it to what you want."
There you go.
And so it's one of the things. Quick weather update. I just came from through 40 west of Waterford, kind of 40 just west of Waterford, right before I got on the call here, and it was raining.
Was it?
Like, it's so hard you could hardly see.
Yeah, we just got an update that Elkhart's going to be under their warning until 6. Yeah.
And some poor fool was on his bicycle heading right straight to it, about half a mile behind me. So,
well, if he didn't shower, he's going to be clean now, Lloyd.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much for
appreciate it.
taking my call.
You bet. Take care. We just got the report issue that Elkhart's warning has been extended to 6 p.m. tonight as well. And so St. Joseph, Michigan, and Indiana, Cass, Berrien County, all under a warning for the thunderstorms until 5:45. But again, Elkhart now has it going until 6 p.m. And any updates we'll continue to pass on to you. And if you have any that we need to pass on to everybody else, please let us know. 574-25-95-95-3. MNC News Time is 5:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatpool.com. Masters gets there faster.
Intersection at Elkhart, Mishawaka, State Road 19. The lights are out. 4-way stop. Traffic's backed up.
Is it in the thing? Okay, here we go. Did you say you had a CUCV too?
January unemployment rate was measured at 3.7%, up from 2.5 in January of 2018. That's the highest unemployment rate in the county since June of 2016. South Bend Mayor Buttigieg says that he's very close to meeting the requirements to qualify for the first DNC presidential debate this year. The first debate is in June, and candidates have to have at least 1% support in 3 qualifying polls or have at least 65,000 donors. And at least 200 of those donors have to be from at least 20 different states. The South Bend Tribune reports that Buttigieg says that he is 85% of the way there. And the state of Michigan is getting some help from Bloomberg Philanthropies in the fight against opioids.
In a press conference Thursday, Governor Gretchen Whitmer and former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg held a press conference to announce that Michigan would become the second state selected to benefit from a $50 million initiative aimed at tackling the crisis. The funding will accelerate access to treatment and improve prevention efforts. Recent statistics suggest that more people die in the U.S. from opioid overdoses than from car crashes.
That's 95.3 MNC's Heather Starr.
Fox News, I'm Steve Rappaport. Dead on arrival at his desk, President Trump expected to veto a resolution blocking his emergency declaration for a border wall. Neither the House nor the Senate adopted the resolution with enough votes required to override a veto. But it does send a
spokesman says he's running to ensure every American has a chance to see a doctor, that government works for everyone, and to provide lawful paths for immigrants to work in the United States.
This is going to be a positive campaign.
O'Rourke also vowing to work on real criminal justice reform and to tackle climate change.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland in Washington. This is Fox News.
Weather, served up by the Prime Table. Start your morning routine with the Prime Table at Niles. This week's breakfast special, waffles and crepes. Half off until 10:30
Is Warren even still with us?
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialist first warning forecast.
A severe thunderstorm warning is in effect.
Warm and windy this afternoon with a storm threat still through 6.
Jet is a good car. I am done with Toyotas, I think, for a while. Not that I have anything really against them. It's just that we went from a Scion and we had major engine failure due to a fault, manufacturer fault. And then we went into a Sequoia, which the frame broke because, again, manufacturer fault. So, yeah, they treated us really good when they were running, but I think I'm done with Toyota products for a little bit.
Fine wine, champagne, and dessert list that is as unique and seasonal as our menu. At Temper Grill, Chef Sean works with the finest ingredients to deliver you an unmatched dining experience that changes every week with the time of the year and his mood, while always satisfying your taste.
Even though I miss my Mustang and would easily kill to have a Mustang back again, if I have to buy a vehicle, it's going to have to be a truck that's relatively cheap, I think, for winter and everything else. Plus, it just makes sense for my company. Truck, SUV, something like that. Some of these people are really taking care of these M1009s, man.
Investors slapping Facebook shares of the social media giant falling Thursday after long outages for
A lot of people haven't. But plenty of parts available for them, that's for damn sure. A whole bench seat, $50. That's a fair point, Mike. It's one of the reasons that we bought the SUV that we had, because we wanted the ability to tow, in case we got a trailer or an RV or something. And then it broke. And my wife is like, a minivan would really be nice. And my 6-year-old, every time she saw a minivan, went nuts. She loves minivans. Once she realized she could run around in this stupid thing and not have to crawl over seats and hit her legs and, struggle to get in and out, she was sold on it. But I was thinking about that with the move and everything. I'm like, man, I could really use a trailer or something to put everything in. So Alphas are great. Alphas always, it like they say in Top Gear, there's always something wrong with an Alpha. But the new Juliet that they have here is a nice car. It really is. Yeah, I can with the minivan. I've got enough power in it. But don't necessarily want to put all of the equipment on there to do it.
I am not a realtor or associated with any realty company. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. Call me at 574-621-3277. I buy inherited houses,
Okay. Darcy's getting some salty messages there. Triple X messages. Tune In is in a commercial loop. Okay. Call Tune In. Nothing I can do about it. Alphas are the most beautiful pieces of crap you'll ever buy. I hear good things about their Juliet, though. I do. I hear good things about it. But
Ugh.
I think it's too expensive for the features and the power that it has, but I think it's a nice car. If you have money to burn, though, why would you get an Alpha?
20-year-old mattress, or maybe it's the second
Because you probably have everything else that you want.
Just get a BMW. Then you don't need an Alpha. I don't know.
You just want the car to have a car.
But if you're a car collector, like, why would you get a mid-grade sedan that has some performance in it?
Because you can.
I don't know. I'd rather spend that money on something nice. But this is me.
But no, I'm saying in
Z-Bar does hitches.
In this scenario, you already have a bunch of nice things. You're just buying another thing.
I don't know. I just can't imagine myself with money to burn just buying like a normal mid-grade car. Just seem, you know what? I've got all these exotics. Let me buy an Alpha.
Let's see what all the hype is.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3,
Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. We're talking about cars and stuff like that, and trucks and vehicles and things. And somebody just said, just buy the used B100 Hummer. Never. Okay, for all of you fans out there who happen to listen to B100, okay, don't ever buy a Hummer. Don't ever buy it. That is, I don't know what it is. They do not like taking care of their interiors. The outside looks fine. Okay, outside looks just great. All right. Well, thanks to Sign of the Times. Exactly. Sponsor of the live stream, by the way. Signs of the Times, elkhart.com. They just, yeah, they don't take care of the interior of that vehicle. But I don't think we've ever done that as a station. I don't think we ever like flipped our vehicles and sold them to the audience or anything like that. We usually have a company that we deal with, but I know that some places do that. I'm just saying, be prepared for interior work if you buy the B100 vehicle. There is a light out Mishawaka and State Road 19. Listener called that in. We appreciate that. For most of you, the thunderstorm warning is getting ready to end. Elkhart, that warning has been extended to 6 p.m., so you still have thunderstorm issues up there. The sun appears to be outside of our studio, so the storms that we've seen today have come through pretty fast, furious, and then moved on. That appears to be the case, so there you go. What's that? What?
We've got an EAS alert. It's not coming through on the feed for some reason.
Around 5:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Middlebury around 5:40 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Other locations impacted by the severe thunderstorm include Howe, Benton, Waterford Mills, Ontario, Shipshewana, Scott, and Highville.
Shipshewana.
This includes Interstate 80 in Indiana between mile markers 104 and 108, between mile markers 114 and 117, and between mile markers 123 and 127. Prepare immediately for large hail and damaging wind. People outside should move immediately to shelter inside a strong building. Stay away from windows. Repeating, a severe thunderstorm warning has been issued until 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in the following counties in Indiana: Elkhart and LaGrange.
All right. So Elkhart and LaGrange are now 6 p.m. for the thunderstorm warning. So appreciate that for the warnings. I had a lot of those, 4 or 5 of them, right, that have come through. So, and again, because these storms have been moving so quick, and there's been several storms that are kind of coming into the area. All right. I want to play this just because I thought this was kind of funny. So Beto O'Rourke has now announced that he's running for president. I told you before, it'd be interesting to have some kind of a ticket with Beto and Pete, but whether or not that's going to happen, I don't know. So Beto is announced. Now, after he lost against Ted Cruz for senator in Texas, he was giving an interview with 60 Minutes, and he was asked, are you going to run for president? Okay, which is a weird thing to ask somebody who just got their butts kicked in Texas running for Senate against somebody who many people believe is the most reviled senator in the country, even though he's very popular in Texas. So Beto O'Rourke was supposed to unseat Ted Cruz. He raised record money, spent record money, still lost. Not even as close as people were predicting it was going to be, right? So then the next question is, so you can run for president? How about can you win like a statewide race first and then maybe make the move to president? But anyway, 60 Minutes asked him and he said, no, I'm not going to do that because like my family can't take it. We've been away too ever. My marriage is going to fall apart, that sort of thing. So somebody created a mashup of the 60 Minutes interview with him saying he's not going to run for president with his announcement that he was running for president. And I think it's glorious. I'm going to play it for you right now.
What are your thoughts on running for president?
I don't want to do it, and I'm running to serve you as the next president of the United States of America. I will not do it. This is going to be a positive campaign. Amy and I, you spent the better part of the last 2 years. Over the coming days, not with each other. I'm going to travel this country. Our family could not survive more of that. We can begin by fixing our democracy. But I'm not looking at 2020 and the interconnected crises in our economy, in fact, in our democracy, and completely in our climate. Ruling that out have never been greater. As people have asked, the answer is no. We are truly now, more than ever, I'm not running, in the last great hope of Earth. No.
Beto, the last great hope of Earth. Now, for those of you who have been listening to me for a long time, one of my nicknames for a while was the last best hope for humanity. It came off of an old quiz that I had taken when I used to do a bunch of those quiz segments in Las Vegas, and I kept coming up with this various quiz. It kept happening as the last best hope for humanity. So I've used that over the years, and here's Beto O'Rourke, last hope of what is it? Last hope of mankind or something like that, or the planet, last hope for the planet. So we're all going to die if Beto O'Rourke is not elected president of the United States. We're going to die in 12 years, ladies and gentlemen. That's what Cortez says. And he's apparently ascribed to that theory as well. I thought it was a funny mashup. We got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Radio at 95.3 FM, online at 95.3mnc.com, and on your smart speaker when you enable the 95.3 MNC skill on the...
Oh, they're not selling it. It was just one of those things that somebody asked if I should buy it. I wish they would have. I would have bought the Prowler. I used to have a Prowler, and I would have bought that. That was back before I had kids, though. How long will I have when we get back?
50 at 50. So, 5 minutes?
95.3 MNC is your official school and closings radio station with updates at least every 15 minutes on air on those brutal winter mornings. Plus, the list is updated instantly online at 95.3mnc.com. Powered by First Response Disaster Rescue.
God, these pop-ups, dude. What the F?
Turn to us and stay connected. Weather, traffic, school delays, and closings.
I felt like pop-ups got good there for a little bit, and now they're just all back.
There's an old way of doing things. Honest communication.
I have one. They're going around it, so I think that there needs to be an update or something.
Day in and day out, from pouring the concrete to placing the steel columns, the very foundation of your build is done by craftsmen who take pride in their work. For more than 40 years, Mid-States Construction has rolled up their sleeves, never wavering on their values and a mission to build their community. And not just building for commercial and industrial, but building relationships. They partnered with providers for steel, made in America, like Nucor Building Systems, with locations right here in Indiana. When space is an issue, they've raised the ceiling for uses for a metal building. And a team with the experience to
Back when Chevy couldn't make a car that worked,
passing fancy.
the one car that worked was the Blazer. so I'm okay with buying a Blazer.
Building contractors in the country. Mid-States Construction. Let our experience help build your business. Serving Michiana since 1975.
Admit it, you've been looking at that worn-down furniture all winter long. The time is right to stop by Furniture Land in Goshen for an extraordinary furniture buying experience. One free from the stress of high pressure and entirely focused on helping you find the best solutions for your unique furniture needs. Right now, stretch your tax return even further when you stop.
We loved our Ranger. I regret getting rid of it. We had a really nice Ford Ranger. It was lifted a little bit, but not too much. Had a really nice canopy on it. Transmission was just starting to go, and so we traded it instead of fixing the transmission, and my wife bought a Dodge Stratus instead. What an effing mistake that was. God, that car blew. We had that car for like 3 months, and we're like, why we should have just spent the damn money.
We had a Stratus for, oh god, how long did we have that thing?
That thing sucked, dude.
We had a Stratus for 6-7 years.
Yeah.
We had a problem with it. Until it just died one day and we got rid of it, boxed it up, and
we were at the point where we didn't have the cash on hand to fix the transmission. But looking back now with my experience, even though at the time it really doesn't matter, I think I could have had that fixed. It was dumb. It was a dumb move. I missed that truck. Flare side and everything. God, it was a great truck.
Whether you have dental insurance or not, we'll do everything possible to ensure you get exceptional care, detailed explanations, and comfortable financial options. We can discuss
The military Broncos, we used to beat the tar out of those things. We love those trucks.
get you back on the path to good oral health. Don't wait to take care of your dental pain.
Oh, Susie's got some cloud pictures in there. Roland's got some video on Discord of the storm. Pretty cool.
Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Is it because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe?
Somebody's telling me to say it. I don't know what it is.
Whether you're learning Spanish,
Oh, is it a joke?
German, and best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
The joke. The joke. Yeah.
Richard Palmer.
Yeah, Dick Palmer.
Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons. Speaking confidently.
I know it's not a violation, but if I said Dick Palmer on the air, making fun of some dude's name, then yeah. Alex posted the Child Protective Services went out to that 11-year-old drag kid. I saw that earlier. The mom said, yeah, I don't know why CPS showed up. My 11-year-old was just in a strip club pretending to be a girl, dancing around with a bunch of people. Why would CPS show up at my house? I don't know. Maybe your 11-year-old shouldn't be at a strip club.
No other reason. There's no other reason. Strip club. 11-year-old.
Yup.
Not good.
Yup. Pretty bad. Dancing around on stage as if he were a dancer. That's not okay.
Go to bwindow.com. That's bwindow.com. You've seen our ads for 35 years. Come
No,
try
I
our
haven't.
exclusive sales.
I have never seen one of your ads. I've heard them, but I've never seen one.
I've heard him. 58.50, you got like 6 minutes.
Did I see the videos of the father? No, I did not see the videos of the father. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. Listening areas almost out of the woods for the thunderstorm warnings. Almost. Elkhart, what was the other one? Was it LaGrange? Elkhart and LaGrange go until 6 p.m.? Yeah, so like I said, it's sunny here. And I mean, like bright sunny here right now. So the storms came through, hit pretty quick, and then moved on. So Nick Sandman, I promised I would give you an update on Nick Sandman today. He is the Covington kid who was accosted by the
the Black Hebrew Israelites at the Right for Life March and the Native American provocateur Nathan Phillips. So anyway, his lawyer has released a video. Cue up my audio again. His lawyer has released a 2-minute video and then announced how much he's suing CNN for. Remember, he's got a $250 million lawsuit against the Washington Post right now. So this is the video about Nick Salmon versus media giants.
Last January, 16-year-old Nicholas Sandmann was falsely targeted, attacked, vilified, and threatened. The Washington Post, owned by the richest man in the world, led the print media's false attacks against Nicholas's reputation. CNN led the broadcast media's charge against Nicholas. Both recklessly spread lies about a minor to advance their own financial and political agendas. Despite raw video debunking the false narrative, the Post and CNN double down on their reckless lies.
He clearly doesn't blame himself. He puts the blame on the adults.
Lies that will forever haunt and endanger the life of an innocent young man.
I blame that f***ing kid. What a little
lies that further divided our nation. How long will we allow these media giants to tear at the fabric of our lives to further their own agendas? Will they ever be held accountable?
Lawyers representing Nicholas Sandmann have just filed a bombshell defamation suit.
Yes, they will. Nicholas Sandmann has taken a stand for himself and for you by filing major lawsuits against CNN and the Washington Post. Nicholas and his legal team will not be stopped until these Goliath corporations are held accountable for their lack of journalistic integrity. Until then, no one's reputation is safe.
If you took the time to look at the full context of what happened that day, Nicholas Sandmann did absolutely nothing wrong. If they can get away with this against a 16-year-old boy, then we're all at risk. There has to be change.
His lawyers are not playing around. So the lawsuit against CNN, ladies and gentlemen, is $275 million. So $250 million against the Washington Post, $275 million lawsuit against CNN for the false attacks against Nick Salmon. And yeah, go get him. Seriously, go get him. And you know what's interesting is not only did the early video prove that Nick Salmon didn't do anything wrong, we ended up uncovering other bits of audio in which he was actually calming down some of the students who were starting to defend themselves. And he was calming them down and telling them, nope, we're not going to do this. We're not going to play their game. So he was actually there as somebody who was a de-escalator with his own student body, his own fellow students, who were starting to understandably become frustrated that there's these people shouting these horrific things at him. So, you know, to demonize him and make him the provocateur, if you will, of all of this was always wrong. And the fact that it kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going long after the evidence was available proving his innocence is the reason that this lawsuit is happening. You know, but again, he's not the first person. It's just that he is, and I don't really know why we've chosen him to be the line in the sand. You know, maybe it's because he's 16 years old. Maybe it's because we have so much video evidence debunking that he did anything wrong. Maybe, perhaps, I don't know. But there's other people who have gone through the same things that he's gone through who are totally innocent. Maybe we just have more physical evidence that he's innocent, that he's going to be the line in the sand, if you will, on this stuff. But if you look at the Washington Post and CNN, since these lawsuits have been announced as potential, they haven't really curbed all of their behavior. Now, Gavin McInnes actually commented on this because Gavin McInnes has been talking about, he's suing the Southern Poverty Law Center. And the Southern Poverty Law Center, which labeled him and the Proud Boys as a hate group, even though they're not a hate group, he's suing them. And he's noticed that since he's filed that lawsuit, when people refer to him in news articles, they no longer call him the head of the Proud Boys. Now, he resigned from the group. He was never their leader. They don't have a leader. But he's noticed that they refer to him as the founder of the Proud Boys, not the leader of the Proud Boys anymore. And he says, that only happened after I filed the lawsuit. and people start to realize that, okay, there might actually be some financial repercussions for lying about this. So he's noticed that. So there's been an impact on these lawsuits in curbing the behavior of some in the press, but at the same time, we're also seeing other people in the press still not do what they're supposed to be doing. So until they're being hit in the pocketbook and management comes by and says, all right, we're going to stop doing things the old way, we're going to start doing things the proper way. Until that happens, like I said, everybody's kind of at risk here. And the media has to understand that they do not have license to slander people just because of freedom of the press. All right, folks, thank you for watching online at youtube.com/Casey the host or facebook.com/Casey the host or listening here on 95.3 MNC. Hannity's up next. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, I'll go take a look at it. Yep, Southern Poverty Law Center is a hate group, 100%. They actually, I did that show years ago. They put a definition of what a hate group was on their website, and it was their definition of how they categorize hate groups. And the Southern Poverty Law Center meets their own definition of a hate group. So, yeah, I hope Gavin drains them of all income. They've got like $150 million in assets offshore now. Like they keep hoarding and hiding money.
All the way up to full collisions, new roofs, new slide outs. There's absolutely nothing associated with an RV that we can't fix. And my service department could probably easily.
All right, everybody. I am going to bounce out of here, but I do appreciate you watching and being in the audience. Thank you so much. The Discord link is brand new today, so go ahead and use that. And then tomorrow I'll have a new link for you if you haven't joined Discord yet. But you'll have a wonderful night. Be safe with this weather, and we'll see you tomorrow.